Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Freekyfast Broadcasting on your Wednesday night. Tonight, we bring you the conclusion of Season 11 of the WSSR Cup Series. It's been an incredible season. We started out with 49 drivers attempting their fates to make it to the playoffs, but after just over 12 races, we cut that 49 drivers to 16. Now over these 4 rounds, we have carved ourselves from 16 to 12 to 8 to our final 4 that have been hunting for the championship. After tonight's race, we have 1 driver that gets to hoist the championship trophy. But we got our final race. It's one of the longest races of the season. We get to see how the drivers can handle tonight's racing action of the Freekyfast Championship finale here at Homestead, a track that has hosted 2 finales in the past. 1 driver has won all of those finale races. It's been Vincent Sora. Tonight, the 3rd round, the 3rd chance for Vincent Sora to go for 3 for 3. But he is no longer a chance of winning a championship. We're looking at the drivers that have registered in for this race. We have 17 drivers that have registered. There's really not a lot of points that are offered for Vincent Sora. He's going to need a perfect race, hope that there's no bonus points that are collected by the other championship 4 drivers, and that's his only chance of making a championship. The other 3, they've got their own destinies and fates in front of them. 1 driver's hunting for their first championship. 1's trying to make the history book of being the 4th driver to go back-to-back in the WSSR Cup Series in championships, and 1's trying to solidify himself as the greatest of all time. And we're excited to give you all the coverage here on Freekyfast Broadcasting. Welcome once again. My name is Sam Dyer. Joining me on this journey here this evening is Richard Wolsifer. And Richard, we've got 3 drivers that mathematically have a fantastic chance to take the championship. 1, his fate is really outside looking in, but it looks to be a definitive 3 drivers, just 4 points splits them up, and 1 race to figure out who's taking the championship.
Yeah, it's going to be an exciting night here at Homestead Miami, a fantastic track to host the final race of the season to crown a champion as well. And it is sad to see that Vincent Sora mathematically is not able to win this playoffs this season. So just an unfortunate event last week, setting back too far in the point standings, that he just won't be able to make that cut. But the other 3 drivers are right there under a blanket, wanting to hoist that trophy to call themselves the Season 11 champion. And it's going to be an exciting race tonight to see which one of those 3 will come out on top after the war tonight.
Most of our mile-and-a-half tracks this season have been 150 laps in length. Here this evening, it's going to be 167 laps will officially be ran. There is overtime if needed. But the field is going to be entering into tonight with just 17. Now, going to be making it 18 drivers registered. And the driver that just registered could be a threat to steal the win here tonight. Seth Knoll has registered in. Richard, that's a wild card driver that we've seen in the past race as part-time of the playoffs. He's influenced playoffs and championships. Tonight, the part-timer could be influencing tonight's championship.
Could definitely help curb the championship for sure. Extra points on the table that can put more people between you and the guy you're trying to race to win the championship. So more drivers mean more opportunity to pass and more points to be able to gain. And the more drivers that keep joining, this gives Vincent Sora a very slim glimmer of hope that he could potentially take the championship. But we're going to have to see if anybody else joins, because still I don't know if it's going to be possible. But Seth Knoll, always a threat every week. He shows up, and here he is, final race of the season to try to take the win.
So 18 drivers are registered in for this race. Now, all 18 have to take the green for all the bonus points to be, for all the points to be grabbed based off position. Bonus points that are possible to be grabbed. You have the pole award, that's 1 bonus point. Leading a lap is 1 bonus point. Leading the most laps is 1 bonus point. And then ultimately winning the race here tonight, 1 bonus point. And with 18 drivers registered in, if Vincent Sora grabs all the bonus points, and you see Gavin Rogers finish last, John Forbes finish in the back half of the field, as well as their Yingling. Vincent Sora wins, and none of those drivers get bonus points. He could be taking the championship. It's back on, mathematically possible for all 4 drivers to take the championship here tonight. It makes it exciting for Vincent Sora. He's got to be hoping that Gavin Rogers doesn't get 2 bonus points. Otherwise, that would take away his chances. But it all starts here. Practice is over. Your first bonus point is on the line. It's qualifying. Drivers have 5 minutes to put down their fastest lap, but only 2 laps to do so. And with how much pressure there is on the line for Vincent Sora to maximize his bonus points here tonight, this one run could be the sense of his championship spec is still on, or it's done before the race even starts.
Yeah, the top 3 here, this is their chance to basically cut Vincent Sora completely out of that chance. And it's even a chance to get that, that gap even extended, that gap closed off. You're going to want to try to put down the fastest lap of the field to get on that pole, get that extra point, because you're also going to get a leading point as well if you can maintain that lead for the first lap. So it's just a fantastic prime position to start this race. We're right along now with GT Irizarry. He's going to start his qualifying lap right now. He's going to be on lap 1. See if he can be a stealer of a point from tonight.
And looking at our championship 4, first driver to leave pit road is going to be Vincent Sora as he's just exiting out of pit road. GT Irizarry attempting to get his first lap in. Going to be seeing these drivers again maximizing their speed. We've seen with the next gen vehicle, the first lap usually is the money lap with the new tire model that we've been seeing throughout the second half of this season. Curious on if drivers maybe attempt the second lap to find a little bit of extra grip, but expecting a lot of drivers, they're aiming for this first lap to be their money lap, and GT Irizarry going to set the pace with a 32.742 for the first lap, being placed down. See what the pickup's going to be for the 14 machine as other drivers getting ready for their first lap to count. Vincent Sora, like I said, is out there on track. The other 3 drivers yet to leave pit road. I think the main reason why, another change that's happening here for this championship round. There's no stage racing, but specifically for tonight, it's the time of day in sim. Usually we run a 1-to-1. It's if it's 1 second in sim, it's 1 second going on in real life. It is a 2 times going on for in sim. So time is rapidly moving, which means the degrees of the temperature on track is as well moving very quickly. So drivers are sitting on pit road are waiting to see if they can get a little bit of extra grip. The track cooling down slightly, and Vincent Sora setting the pace immediately, a 32.411, and that is it. His 1 lap. That's it for the 51.
Yeah, fantastic lap from Vincent Sora to try to get that point and make his chance that much closer. But now we're right along now with John Forbes. He is now out on track. He's going to try and put the fastest lap down. But it was a great strategy by these guys to wait a little bit longer with that 2 times daytime expenders here. So they're trying to wait for this track to cool off just a little bit. John Forbes up near that wall, trying to get the momentum around here. 3-4 gets into the wall a little bit though. He's going to stop. He's going to reset, and he's going to go out there and try again. It's a good thing about sim racing. You make a little mistake on your outlap, you can reset and try again. But we're going to ride along now here with Larry Yingling going out for his qualifying lap to see if he can be the top dog starting the race.
Larry Yingling, John Forbes, Gavin Rogers, they're the drivers that are out there on track trying to see if they can get the bonus point and steal it away from Vincent Sora. And to set their tone into the wall is going to be the 67. As will he utilize that time of just brushing the wall? And it looks like he will. That outlap going to accept the fact that he brushed the wall. That isn't going to take away from his first lap because he's just starting his first lap. Other drivers that are out on track going to be watching out for Gavin Rogers as he's on his outlap, as well as the 1 machine of John Forbes. They've got to beat Vincent Sora's 32.411. The next closest driver was Ryan Kelly. He misses out on the pole and trying to push away that bonus point to help out Larry Yingling. That's going to be a factor to watch out for here tonight is how does John Forbes, Vincent Sora, teammates, how do they want to race around one another? Do they help one another? And Larry Yingling from Ying Yang Racing, how well will his teammates help him along is Larry Yingling's first lap, a 32.667. That is well off the pace of the whole time. Gavin Rogers is slow as he's trying to halt before crossing the line. Forbes misses out by 5/100ths of a second. Vincent Sora holds strong for now with 24 seconds left in qualifying. The 51 looks good unless someone else can steal it. One of those drivers look to be the 22. He'll come up shy by 100th of a second. Jared Talmadge, one of the final drivers, trying to cross the line, but he's too slow. Vincent Sora's hopes for a championship are still wide open with him taking the pole right here.
A great lap from Vincent Sora. He's going to start pole. That will get him the bonus point, and his championship hopes are still alive. The 51 is back in the game.
This is one of the biggest gaps of a championship runner that we've seen, and we're hyping it up. We're going in with the possibility that this is really hyping up for nothing. But man, what a journey and what a story it could be if Vincent Sora can just steal this championship away. And let's see the picture that Sora has entering tonight. At our point standings, like I said, we started out with 49 drivers attempting to make the playoffs. 16 made it in, and we've been cutting it down to our final four. Final four drivers going to be Gavin Rogers, John Forbes, Larry Yingling, and Vincent Sora. Those are the drivers. These are the live points. Our cutoff line's a little bit off, but those are the correct points that are on screen. Forbes, 3 points back. Yingling, 4 points back. And Vincent Sora, entering into tonight before the bonus points, was 21 points back from Gavin Rogers. Now make it 20 with that bonus point that he just grabbed.
Yeah, the only downside about this also, Vincent Sora's got to hope that the other three drivers don't get any bonus points themselves. That includes leading at least one lap. If that happens, it could completely dash the hopes for Vincent Sora. So he's still got a long road ahead. He's got to play very aggressive with a lot of defense to be able to protect that front position and keep any driver, any of those playoff drivers from leading any laps. But Gavin Rogers, that is a big story also. He did not get the qualifying lap he was hoping for, was not able to get that car stopped in time before the start finish line and had to count that qualifying lap, could not get out and get another lap. He will be starting really far back in the field. He's got a big mountain to climb as well.
And how did we set up this mountain that he's got to climb over? Let's take a look at how the schedule has been. This has been a fantastic season to watch with so many diverse pole sitters. The winners have been diverse as well. The only drivers that have won multiple times this season are just two. John Forbes with 6 wins this season, Vincent Sora with 3, and the rest of the field that have won, just 1 win for themselves. I think that's been the most shocking thing entering into this championship round is the fact that we only have 2 drivers with multiple wins this season.
Yeah, that is a really impressive fact, especially Gavin Rogers, who had multiple wins in past seasons before, only able to finally score his first win last week at Richmond in dominating fashion at that. Gavin Rogers had a phenomenal race at Richmond last week, but again, his only win for the season. John Forbes, a dominant factor, 6 wins under his belt for this season. He, definitely the favorite to take the championship. So we'll have to see if he can continue that dominance and take the win home tonight.
Certainly is going to be attempting his best, but what are all these drivers searching for? What are they battling for? It is the championships, and we have got some trophies, not just for the driver that wins it all, but championship trophies for our top 3. That's most likely going to be Gavin Rogers, John Forbes, Larry Yingling entering into tonight. But based off how qualifying went down, we're going to be seeing Vincent Sora trying to change his fate. As we take a look at our Sim Precision prints, you see the championship trophies here. We got the gold, the silver, the bronze, and here are some of the drivers that we feel like have the best chance to take the gold. I'm going with a driver that's 4 points back. That's Larry Yingling in the 67. Certainly a driver that can take it all here tonight. He's a driver that's found success here in the past, but it's been all the way back in those early seasons at Homestead. He's going to need some miracle action here tonight if he wants to take the championship for season 11 and grab his 4th career championship trophy. But I got to say, Richard, I'm not surprised by your pick, but how do you feel about Gavin Rogers entering into tonight?
Oh, I feel good about Gavin Rogers taking the win tonight. You know, first season he was here, rookie, that championship slipped just through his fingertips, and I know he is really wanting to take this home finally. And he's got a lot of support watching him tonight. And I feel Gavin Rogers, as long as he can keep his head straight and out of trouble, he has got the best chance out of majority of these drivers to take this win home. He doesn't have to win the race; he just has to make sure he outpoints the rest of the field.
And I think that's going to help him on the fact that all he has to do is just search for his competition and stay ahead as he just puts the fastest lap down during this warm-up section. We also want to take a look at our third member of our crew. That's Robert Moyer Jr., and he's as well going with Gavin Rogers. That's not a bad pick to go with. The only problem is if you look at the past, the last few seasons, the driver that enters into the final race with the points lead has not been the driver that takes the championship at the end of the night. We'll see if the magic's still there. Looking at the numbers entering tonight, the driver that's second in points, John Forbes, he's trying to go back-to-back with the championships. He's trying to break that championship number curse. I feel like he's already shattered that with getting 6 wins this season. But he gave us a fun factoid that, re-looking at it from last season, he entered last season being 3 points back from the points leader entering the final race. He's entering 3 points back here tonight. He's hoping for a little bit of deja vu to happen here for season 11, like he saw in season 10.
Yeah, he's definitely looking to go back-to-back. John Forbes, a threat for tonight. Again, like we were saying, just massive dominance this entire season. So it'll be impressive to see him go back-to-back from season 10 to season 11 as well.
I know we got a lot of fans out there rooting for Gavin Rogers, as well as we got fans rooting for John Forbes. Who else are you rooting for out there in the chat? We love to see all those that are cheering on for our championship. For tonight's race, here's your starting grid. Vincent Sora does not want to lay over and give up on this championship just yet. The 51 will start in the pole position here tonight. Colby DiCarlo in the 22. What a rookie season it's been for this 22 machine, continuously showing great qualifying pace as he'll start in second position. John Forbes in the 1 machine, trying to go back-to-back in the championships. He will be starting in third place with being 3 points back. He's hoping the magical numbers are lining up for himself. Ryan Kelly, who thought last season was his chance for a championship, he might have to play a little bit of rear gunner, helping out Larry Yingling here tonight. He'll start ahead of his teammate in 4th place. Brian P. Johnson, driver that won the championship all the way back in season 1. Does he want to conclude season 11? We'll see how the 28 starts in 5th place. Larry Yingling, 3rd in points entering tonight. He is 4 points back from Gavin Rogers, and he starts in 6th position. Cedric Hunter in the 13 will start in 7th. Ali Fonseca 8th. Munatsi Major in 9th, and GT Arzari will finish out our top 10.
Round out the field, we're going to have starting in 11th place Justin Malarkey and Ben Keeney to his outside in the 12th position. Gavin Rogers, our current points leader, starting back in the 13th position. Got a lot of cars to pass tonight, but he's going to have a great night to do it with Seth Knoll on his outside of number 88 and 14th. Jarrett Talmadge back in the 15th position. Thomas Green and 31 machine starting in the 16th. And round out the field, Zachary Hall in the 17th position, and Nicholas Renner starting in 18th.
We've already got some championship implications going on. Vincent Sora, not sure what is going on his end. Major internet issues. He's not lost packets and has lost the server yet, but he is blinking so aggressively. The admins have forced to give him an end-of-the-line penalty, so getting the pole award does not matter. The 51 is going to the end of the line. He is hoping to get reconnected in. Speaking about trying to get reconnected in, Nicholas Renner did not connect into the server to start the grid off. He's back and still waiting to see if he'll start in pit road for tonight's race. That is already 2 major circumstances that is going to hurt the 51's chance of being the underdog. For Sora, he's got to hope that John Forbes doesn't lead a lap, or Gavin Rogers for the most part. If Rogers leads a lap, that snuffs out any championship hope for the 51. That would be a hard pill to swallow. Here's a couple of other notes for tonight's race. End of the line penalty for Brian P. Johnson. End of the line penalty for Thomas Green, as well as a drive-through penalty. And Seth Knoll, a end of the line penalty as well for the 88. All other drivers, they're registered up. They're signed up and ready for great racing action. 17 take the green here tonight, and we're excited to conclude the season 11 of the WSSR VRS Cup Series. The championship round, the conclusion of a season, starts right here. Green flag is out of the air, and it's John Ford going to be starting up front with Colby DiCarlo. They'll be side by side, roaring down into turn number 1. Here we go, Richard. Let's conclude a season as the 22 rides high, and the 1 is taking off.
One taking off, taking the lead with that unfortunate EOL from the 51. So he's going to take the lead right now, potentially lead this first lap. But Cedric Hunter dives to the inside. He's going to try to make a move on John Forbes himself, as everybody too wide behind them. This is a great side-by-side racing so far. John Forbes with the run off the turn. He will lead lap 1, score a bonus point for John Forbes in the number 1.
And that's a great start for John Forbes in this race. He needs to get that bonus point. That's going to now shrink the gap just a little bit more for himself. Gavin Rogers, who entered tonight with a 3-point buffer, he is all the way back in 7th position. We'll see if we can get the live points working here tonight, but this certainly is a race in a season that has been a blast to watch, of all the drivers trying to come together to make this a fantastic season 11. As drivers are getting real mixy further on back. That's the battling happening for around 6th on back. They're 2 wide there. Manazzi Major, the 3 of Ryan Kelly, Gavin Rogers, as well as Jared Talmadge, side by side, all trying to crack into the top 5. Is up front, top 4 in line as John Forbes in complete control.
Yeah, John Forbes in complete control, has about a 3 to 4 car length gap over Cedric Hunter, and he's got the clean air. You know, everyone behind him is going to have that dirty air. The car's not going to drive very well when you're behind other cars, but Cedric Hunter getting passed by Colby DiCarlo in the number 22 from the outside. He's going to take the 2nd position, but John Forbes sitting pretty comfortably right now. He's just going to be on cruise control for now until I guess he gets under pressure. But further back, you got Gavin Rogers back in the
more
8th position. Oh, and car sliding to the inside.
Going to be Ben Keeney, Ollie Fonseca, both with a big slide. The 24 is able to hold on. The 98, though, a massive slide to try to keep it off the inside wall. Run slow to get back up to speed after really heating up those tires. Let's be careful before really gassing it up is Ben. Update on one of our championship 4 drivers, Vincent Sora, the underdog story. We were rooting for it based off his qualifying run. No longer going to be a factor because of his internet not getting fixed. Currently, after 1 lap, just pulled it into pit road. Vincent Sora's campaign to be a 3-time champion and tie Larry Yingling is now snuffed out and over. It is just a 3-horse race on who's going to take the season 11 championship. It's Rogers, it's Forbes, and Larry Yingling all hunting for the season 11 championship. Just 6 laps in, and we've already lost 1.
Yeah, unfortunate to see Vincent Sora. It was a very strong chance for him, getting the pole position, making that light at the end of the tunnel just ever so visible. But with the internet issues he was having, it was unfortunate that he will not be able to try and make that underdog story happen. But, you know, again, like we were saying, one of the more interesting things that the WSSR decided to do for the VRS Cup is for these last 2 rounds, last week and this week, again, we touched on it before, there's no stage break, which means no stage bonus points. This is a straight up race to the finish from green to checkered, with your occasional potential yellow flags for incident. But again, no stage points. So these drivers have to worry about the number of cars they pass, how many laps they lead, and little bonus points like that. So right now, Gavin Rogers still trying to make his way up. Larry Yingling trying to make his way up, also trying to make a move on Colby DiCarlo, going to look high, might have his nose there, but not quite there. Colby DiCarlo going to be able to pull up right in front of him. Larry Yingling going to stick in the 3rd position currently.
Saying where they're at right now, and with Homestead, the way that this track runs, if we look back to last season, it was a lot of, for the fast drivers, stay low, protect your tires, and you could find yourself being rewarded later on in the run with those guys that were running high, burning off their tires and really have to back off later on in the run. Here tonight, the fact of dirty air really is going to be a factor that some drivers said they felt like was going to be more of a helpful factor. Running in first wasn't the most comfortable place to be during a long run. Drivers felt like running in second, third, maybe even further back in the dirty air might help you with the loose sensations drivers are feeling, as John Forbes lets the 22 drive on by on the inside. He'll fight strong with a major run on the outer groove. That's going to be something curious to watch out for here, Richard, is what drivers comfortability-wise are searching for out there on the track.
Yeah, a lot of these drivers just trying to find what lane is going to work for them the best. John Forbes is doing a really good job there, utilizing the air and doing some aero blocking, what we like to say, that puts the dirty air on the nose of the car behind him, makes him push a little tight, and that's exactly what he did with Colby DiCarlo. Colby was looking high, trying to make the pass on John, and John took that lane away from him, and Colby got up into the wall a little bit. So these drivers right now just trying to search for any kind of grip anywhere on the track they can, try to get that air on that nose, get that car to rotate, and try to make their way forward.
And you talked about the fact that this race could go from green flag to checkered flag because there is no absolute caution that will be thrown with a stage break. It has happened once in the past. Back in season 1, the first time they ran here at Homestead, they had 0 cautions. Season 4, the next time they ran, they had 3 cautions. 1 caution was thrown back in season 6. 2 cautions were thrown back in season 7. The most cautions that were thrown, 5 last time they ran here last season. We'll see how much that's going to change up, as here's our live point standing. Currently, it is a 4-point difference as the drivers are going back and forth between one another. John Forbes, because of where he's running right now, those bonus points that he's grabbed, this one machine is primed and set to be ahead of Kevin Rogers. Rogers has a little bit of work. He's got to make sure he's at least 2 positions away from that one machine if he wants a chance to take this championship. But looking at the field deeper in the mix, starting to see a little bit more side-by-side action and drivers attempting to make these moves and get by one another, but we've already seen it's a tough task to make passes at this time, as everyone is just searching for grip and looking for the clean air that they can run at this time, as seeing a couple of drivers attempting to go 3 wide for a quick moment. Gonna be stacked side by side. That's Seth Noel, who's up to 8th place. Again, the driver who entered tonight as kind of a surprise. Was not expecting to see Seth show up here tonight, Richard, and I'm shocked that he did for the final race of the evening, but he's every race he's shown up for, he is a threat to win and be a factor up front.
No, Seth has always been a threat to win every single race that he shows up. He's always playing that spoiler, always up there running up front, even coming from the back. So he's a fantastic driver, does what he needs to do to save those tires, have the run in the later parts of these green flag stops. So he's doing a great job here, making the passes very calmly, very strategically, and saving as much as he can. But it's look like he's just passing people with no problem right now. So Seth is definitely going to be a factor to the end of this race for winning.
I believe so, as he's trying to now make the pass on the 27 of Jared Talmadge. Talmadge having a fantastic season for himself. Didn't make it as far into the playoffs as he hoped for the 27 machine. Had a total of 8 top 5s, 10 top 10s, and it was a fantastic just building season, I can say, for Jared Talmadge, who we are expecting to be a threat for a championship and championships in future seasons. As you can see the battling right here going on for 6th place. The battle for the lead also happening. John Forbes keeping position over Colby DiCarlo, but a driver is starting to falter back. That's the 20. That's going to be the 67, excuse me. Going to be Larry Yingling. Starting to lose touch. He's trying to utilize that outside lane. He's able to hold strong for 3rd for now, but losing a slight touch to those top 2 that are trying to pull away.
Yeah, he's losing just a little bit of ground. He's not able to get the run off the turns, it seems, but he could also just be trying to save a little bit of tires and let them kind of burn their stuff up, because those 2 have been racing pretty hard up front, DiCarlo and Forbes. So it could just be part of the strategy. Hold back a little bit, get a little bit of clean air on that nose, and save those tires and don't burn them up to get some little bit later run pace.
Seeing Ryan Kelly drifting in the middle, fall backwards as Seth Noel now going to be poking the nose to force it 3 wide, trying to force the issue to get by the 13 Hello Kitty machine. A little bit of a pinch on the 13, makes him back off in the center of the corner. Seth Noel trying to go for the 2 for 1 in 2 corners as makes the pass over Kelly. Kelly wants to retaliate for himself. As see Colby DiCarlo once again to the inside, trying to go for the pass with a 22. Not fully clear just yet. Has a nose in that outside lane. Once again, just too strong, defends perfectly. Will continue to fight on. Is John Forbes to lead another lap for himself in this one. Leading the most laps would be such another critical point to be grabbed for the one machine, because then that would make it to where, not based off of positioning, would just be 1 point back. It would only have to be one position ahead of Gavin Rogers, and he would take the championship here this evening. And Rogers, he needs to start making some passes quickly, start getting in that lead position, lead some laps, get that bonus point, kind of fire back on the point that was grabbed by John Forbes. The trouble is he's trying to make these passes on the inside, and it's just not working at this current moment to see that inside groove work.
Yeah, the inside groove is a little tough to make work because it doesn't have the momentum that the outside line does, but also just like the exit angle just doesn't give you that runoff speed either. So Gavin has been trying to make it work. He's made a few passes. He's up from 8th up to the 5th position now. So he's made his way up a little bit, but he's got to get up there, at least lead a couple of laps, and don't let John just run away with these bonus points. But Gavin's doing everything he can. He's playing it safe. And looks like he's slowly starting to make his way forward. But Seth Knoll, a huge dive to the inside to try to get around Gavin.
Trying their best. And currently one of the biggest movers right now is Seth Knoll, as well as Jared Talmadge. They've efficiently been moving forward kind of together. 88's been having a little bit of a harder time as this run progresses on. Those older tires, harder to make passes for a few if you haven't been protecting and you've just been on full go mode. As the 88 tries to move forward, Colby DiCarlo in second place. That 22 machine, talking about qualifying attempts, he is usually one of the stronger qualifying drivers of our rookie class. When it comes to finishes, he only has 5 top 10s this season, yet to get a top 5 finish. And I think that's a shocker. I think this 22, with the pace that he's shown, you would expect at least 1 or 2 top 5s to be in his standings, but not the case so far. And trying to finish out the season on a strong note as he runs and still battles for potential champions of this season as the one still keeping the top spot. But DiCarlo, that's one of his best corners, keeping it close as they drag race their way into turn 1.
Yeah, fantastic corner for DiCarlo. Was able to stay side by side with Forbes. He's going to drift up a little bit. I think the car pushed tight ever so slightly. Not going to have the run here. Forbes has got the run on the outside. He's going to have to fall back in line, get that draft, try to get that run down the straightaway. But now he's got Talmadge right on his rear bumper as well, teammate to John Forbes, so he's got to worry about that. But he's really sticking to that inside middle line area, and he's doing a great job having some fantastic turns for himself.
He certainly is, as we continue to watch DiCarlo, Talmadge. Where do they want to place themselves? Seth Knoll now getting into the mix. The 27 and the 1 machine. If they can get in line, 1-2, the Nightmare Fuel teammates working together. We've seen that combo work so many times this season to help Forbes get his 6 wins, see Vincent Sora get his 3. Now, Jared Talmadge would love to get into a position to either take the lead or defend it for his teammate and try to help John Forbes grab his 2nd championship. Colby DiCarlo not able to hold and defend as the 27 slots ahead, and that's the way you get the pass done. Dive ball move, gets clear, and moves right in front of that 22, try to kill his momentum.
Yeah, that's what he did, but he's not going to just back down easy. He's going to stay side by side. He's going to gas it up a little bit, keep that momentum on the outside, not let DiCarlo make that slide job move. And now DiCarlo going to lose another position. This time to Seth Knoll. DiCarlo from 2nd back to 4th, trying to utilize this inside line, and I think it's starting to fall off. He is not getting the run that he was hoping to have. I think the tires are just not allowing him to do what he was doing earlier.
Seth Knowles only ran 7 races this season. He's got 1 win, 4 top 5s, 4 top 10s, and trying to go for win number 2. He's got a couple of wins last season in season 10, ran part-time during season 10 as well. And over the radio, Jared Talmadge letting Seth Knoll know, hey, I'm not racing this aggressive right now. If you want the space, go for the space. And the 27 looks to be backing off, not trying to fight too hard for this lead position. I think the main reason why, recognizing the fact you're not the driver we're worried about. It's more of where is Gavin Rogers at this time. That's kind of the focus of the 27 and 1.
Yeah, I think that's exactly what their care is. And that's, that's a benefit of having teammates out on the track with you. They are able to kind of keep track of your other opponents here in this playoff situation and kind of feed you information if you're not really paying attention, because If anything, he's just giving information to John and letting John focus on the track ahead of him so he doesn't make any mistakes. John still leading every single lap so far in this race, just complete control of this front position currently.
In complete control, gifted the control spot when Vincent Sora's internet was not allowing him to stay connected to start this race off. Vincent Sora officially has been out of this race since the very beginning. Unfortunate to see one of our championship four and the way that his season had to come to a conclusion. I really thought this championship round with Richmond, Homestead, there was so many factors that pointed at Vincent Sora. This was going to be a season around his third championship, tied with Larry Yingling. Not going to be the case as his championship hopes are done. We're left with 3 drivers that are hunting for the championship. That's Gavin Rogers, who entered into the night as the points leader. John Forbes, who leads this race. He currently, based off of live points, would win the championship. And then you have Larry Yingling, who drives all the way back. It's fallen to 6th place for the 67. He's really not in a comfortable position to be fighting forward. He's been running the outside groove, and it's been losing spots more than he would like to be gaining or defending positions as this race continues to stay green. 28 laps concluded and still so many more laps to go as you see Seth Knoll and a few other drivers really attempting here late to go down to that white line. I'm kind of shocked to see drivers that are attempting to stay that lower with having massive dive bomb moves this late into a run where it seems like the tires are falling away pretty quickly.
Yeah, it does seem like the tires are falling away from a lot of these drivers, but at the same time, I mean, everyone's finding grip at different parts of the track, like Colby DiCarlo. He's starting to make a move back forward on Jarrett Talmadge. So Gavin Rogers making moves on the inside as well. The outside just seeming to not have that grip for some of these drivers like Larry Yingling, who'd been running out there for a bit. So it's interesting to see how these different lines have been affecting people's tire wear as Colby DiCarlo still trying to make a move here on Jarrett Talmadge here to make it get into 3rd position.
Attempt to go for a move, kind of just staying stable. It's not the worst place to be at this time, especially with the knowledge of how pit road and pit stops are going to really change this race. John Forrest really enjoying that outside groove as Seth Knoll is going with more of a diamond approach. Very shallow entry, hits the apex at the center of the corner and then tries to straighten out. It's not really helping to get by Forbes as Forbes attempts the Seth Knoll run, and this could be a change-up where Seth Knoll could really gain on the one machine coming off of the back stretch and a huge run off of turn 2. Also seeing going to be Jarrett Talmadge, Colby DiCarlo. They're starting to get closer between one another, but there's the fan-out motion. 3 drivers, 3 different ways they want to get around the corner, but it's John Forbes still holding strong ahead of the field. You see deeper in the field, there's a couple of other drivers that are battling between one another. Larry Yingling, Cedric Hunter for 7th and 8th. They're having their bickers back and forth. Battle for 5th between Gavin Rogers and Ryan Kelly. They're side by side ever so slightly. And then you fall back by almost 2 seconds from Cedric Hunter in 8th place all the way back to 9th. Do not see Major, Brian P. Johnson, Ali Fonseca, Zach Hall. This quartet has been going back and forth in the early goings of this race and kind of carrying over a little bit of bickers and fights that they had last season. Ali Fonseca, Zach Hall, they've had a rough patch coming to the end of season 10, and once again a season later they're still right on top of one another. And this small, not a huge rivalry, but this discourse of drivers getting to have their own fun going back and forth between each other.
Yeah, and of course these drivers are also trying just to race as clean as they possibly can. They might have their quarrels and their rivalries, but they don't want to be the one driver that can affect the end of this race, affect the championship by causing a yellow. So they're out here still having fun. It's great to see drivers who are not, running for that championship still out here, still racing everybody that's around them, but doing it in a respectful way to take care of everybody in the field.
Seeing Ali Fonseca side panel, how close is he willing to get to that outside wall next to the corner? Willing to get very close through the corner. That's kind of the skill, and I feel like the talent is drivers that are able to maximize running the outside lane without hitting the wall. I know sometimes drivers accidentally brush it and get a slight advantage that way, but drivers that are able to just stick it and stay as close to the wall without hitting it, that is such a skill and a talent. It's so difficult to do.
Yeah, it's definitely very difficult to ride up there against that wall. The Petty line, the Larson line, depending on what generation of racing fan you are, But you see Larson, in modern day NASCAR riding right up there, right up against that wall, inches away and able to get that car to stick. Now, personally, I can't run up there. I cannot get that car to rotate the turn to save my life. But these guys, they're putting on a show, getting as close as they can to that wall, right along here with Jarrett Talmadge, doing a great job showing us what it's like to be inches away from the outside wall.
In inches, sometimes you feel like you got to back off, and you certainly will at times. It's been awesome to watch the racing all throughout Season 11. We also want to say thank you to the amazing sponsors that have been along with this journey all the way through. First and foremost, we want to say thank you to the title sponsor for Season 11, that being VRS, otherwise known as the Virtual Racing School. Virtual Racing School's ultimate goal is to help you to become the best driver on the sim side and beyond, with all the tools and knowledge that VRS has for you. They've got so many helpful tools, from setups to having tools to look at your analysis and you're looking at your driving style. There's so many aspects so you can grow as a driver, and VRS wants to help you grow in every aspect. Go to virtualracingschool.com, check out all the ways that can help you grow as a driver and see the setups that can help you get into victory lane. We also want to say thank you to GTR Simulators. If you've ever thought about getting yourself a racing rig, if a permanent racing rig is what you're looking for, or one that's compact, that's movable, go check out GTR Simulators today. Use promo code WSSR at checkout for 10% off at $100 or more purchase. Again, that's GTRsimulators.com. Don't miss out on your chance to upgrade your rig and race like the pros. And some of the pros out there on track: John Forbes, Seth Knoll. The back and forth battle for the lead is on. Seth Knoll going to be leading that lap, but John Forbes keeping it close as they're side by side, drag racing down into turn number 1 and across the line by 1/100th of a second. It was still Forbes, the one machine, just perfectively showing how to defend on the outside, but only until lap 39, as Seth Knoll is now in complete control. As we take another look at that change of positions, it's still John Forbes leading the way by only just 2 points over Gavin Rogers. That's 2 positions that he could stay ahead at this current moment.
Yeah, he's done a fantastic job controlling this race, leading the most laps currently. So he's got the most laps led of the race so far, but Gavin Rogers does not have a bonus point yet. He has not led a lap. Did not get the pole. So Gavin Rogers still trying to search his way to get up front, but he has been struggling a little bit. It doesn't seem like he has the pace to catch these guys. Gavin has got to figure something out and figure out what he can do in this later part of the race. Maybe readjust how he's been driving the car, the line he's been taking. But Gavin still in it, still looking to catch up to these guys and get those 2 spots away to get up and get that pressure back on John Forbes.
But we are starting to see a little bit of a swing here, 40 laps into this run, where drivers that are being aggressive on their tires are starting to fall away. Those that were running on the inside, a little bit more protectiveness, they're starting to get rewarded. And a couple of those drivers to watch out for: Colby DiCarlo, Gavin Rogers, Cedric Hunter. They are running about similar pace to Seth Knoll, John Forbes, Jarrett Talmadge. They're running slightly slower, and the 27 and the 1 could be in threat of a watch out mode just based off their previous lap time. We'll see this go around if there's any change, but I'm getting worried for Talmadge as well for Forbes if we start to see the 1375 start to move forward quickly here.
Yeah, the 13 has had a major good run here. He's going to make a pass on Gavin Rogers. Not quite clear. He's going to be able to clear and get right in front of him. But Colby DiCarlo, he's making his way back forward as he gets around Talmadge now, but he gets loose and up into the wall. That's something we haven't seen in a while. But Colby DiCarlo all the way around. Yellow is out.
He just was trying to keep it on the outside, but every time he bounced off the wall, it just got looser and more sideways, and ultimately went for a spin. Our first caution of the day on lap 43. We'll restack them. We'll set it back up. And our first caution, just trying everything, was Colby DiCarlo to try to get by this 27. He'd been fighting for the past 20 laps to get this position back, but just in a blink of an eye. I mean, Richard, he was trying everything, but just proving how tough this track is with the tire wear factor this late into the run.
Yeah, definitely the tire wear thing. Gets into that turn just a little too hot, gets loose, is up into the wall. He tries to keep it up there, And that's the thing that we see about these next gen is you saw he tried to correct it when it bounced back off the wall and then just snapped right to the right on him. It's unfortunate to see. These cars are really hard to kind of save once they get a little sideways. Did a good job with, he got it up into the wall, tried to keep it up there, but it bounced him back off, and then just trying to save it and just snapped on him. You see again, trying to get back underway, spins the tires, spins it sideways again. So Colby DiCarlo bringing out the first caution of the night here on lap 43.
For DiCarlo, that will not be a required damage meatball flag. Instead, he'll come in, see what the optional damage looks like. It's going to be a lot of damage he's got to work on, but with a small field and the way this race has been looking like it could have gone green for a while, this damage is going to be a rough one to deal with throughout the night. As everyone gets into their boxes, 16 drivers going to be able to get their repairs done, fuel, tires, and go. Everyone 4 tires and fuel. Seth Knoll will keep the lead. John Forbes second. Third goes to Ryan Kelly. Cedric Hunter fourth. Fifth goes to Gavin Rogers. And one driver that is so happy to see this caution come out, Thomas Green, had a drive-through penalty to start this race off. The 31, the third member of the Nightmare Fuel drivers that are still racing, he gets a chance to finally race with the pack on this restart.
Yeah, lucky break for him. That drive-through penalty to start the race, it definitely hurts because, you know, you might not seem, I mean, it might not be like Daytona or Talladega, but the draft can help on bigger tracks like this. When you have those really long straightaways and decently high-speed turns, the draft means everything. So when you don't have the draft, you're kind of losing time a little bit here, a little bit there. So Thomas Green going to be back up with the field and be able to try and compete and make his way back up, or make his way up through the field to get up with his teammates to try to help John Forbes win this championship.
Lights are off. We're going this time by, and want to say thank you to everyone that's watching with us. I know we've seen fans rooting for Gavin Rogers, John Forbes. Nick Crawford was attempting to root for Vincent Sora, but after the early troubles, he said, well, that's why I don't bet. And it makes sense. Betting, you want to make sure if you're going to bet, make sure it's responsible and you're not getting yourself in trouble. But looking at the field as a whole right now, some drivers staying in with extra time to get damage repair. Thomas Green, one of those, get extra repairs done. A little bit of a splash and go. Going to go for Justin Malarkey. Colby DiCarlo spent his time in pit road, didn't stay for extra time. He's going to stay on the lead lap. He's only in there for about a minute. So we'll see how the 22 recovers after his spin in contact into the outside wall. So has a little bit of front end damage to deal with. But up front, it's Seth Knoll going to be in control on the inside for the 88. John Forbes on the outside for the 1. Who gets the giddy up and go? Who can keep their positioning up front? Let's find out as the pace car pulls off. Your Freaky Fast Championship finale is back underway. Green flag is back in the air. The last race for season 11 of the WSSR DRS Cup Series, and it's Seth Knoll already clear. John Forbes going to follow in suit, but it's on the outside. Hello Kitty of the 13 that does not want to wait. Cedric Hunter is fighting for third position.
Cedric Hunter trying to fight to get up to that third position. Had a little bit of a loose moment there coming out of turn 2. Cold tires, they're fresh, they're new. So it's going to be a little difficult to control these cars a little bit. But get a little loose. John Forbes all the way up against the wall, almost scraping it, trying to make that outside line work. But Seth Knoll coming around, he's going to lead this lap on the restart as he has now got control of this race. But John Forbes is not going to give up that easily.
John Forbes trying his best. Ryan Kelly going to be forcing the issue. The 3 machine going to get underneath the 1, which gets John Forbes even higher, close to that outside wall. The big slide for the 1 machine, but he keeps his foot in the throttle, allows him to battle back for second place. And Seth Knoll enjoying the shots behind him as all these drivers going back and forth. Forbes keeping it up against that outside wall. Knowles going to be forced in the middle as Ryan Kelly's going to force it 3 wide across the line. Forbes leads the way, and he's right back where he was comfortable in those first 40 laps, leading here tonight.
John Forbes back to the lead after a little slip up from Seth Knoll there also. So this is where John Forbes wants to be, but Gavin Rogers, he's able to get around Seth Knoll as well as he slots up into the 3rd position, going to try to follow these guys and try to get up to John Forbes to get the pressure on him to make him make a mistake and to try to win this championship himself.
Ryan Kelly trying to stop the bleeding of too many laps being led by the one machine. The three machine not able to stuff that lap. It goes to the one machine once again. Seth Knoll going to be big dive bomb move, and it's just three rows of 2-wide action. Everyone attempting, and it's the guys on the outside that are getting the better runs and clearances. Gavin Rogers, those first 40 laps, he was trapped and mired back in 7th and 6th place for practically the whole run. Now up to 3rd, a chance to battle for 2nd and maybe the lead. Rogers finally given the green light. Now 50 laps into this race. Rogers going to be attempting the outside. Everyone else going to go low. Jared Talmadge goes high, but it's against the outside wall. Where is the speed for the 75? And does he want to use all of his tires now? Able to go to the outside. John Forbes sees the momentum. He'll block it off. And we look at the live point standings now with the drivers 1-2. It's a tie of 88 points apiece. And Ryan Kelly trying to get into the mix with all the laps that have been led, all the bonus points that are still out there to be grabbed as well, with leading the most laps, winning the race. Those could be the critical bonus points that enables John Forbes or Gavin Rogers. If they're lined up 1-2, it would be Forbes that takes the advantage with the bonus points, but Rogers still there as he keeps it close. And I think with the knowledge that might be given to the 75, he knows he has to finish ahead of the one. You cannot afford to be one position behind him with all the bonus points that have been grabbed.
Yeah, Gavin has got to aim to try to finish in front of John Forbes. He's also got to get up there and lead a few laps. Try to get that extra bonus point as well so you can extend that gap a little bit more and get a little bit of the pressure off yourself. So Gavin, he is doing everything he can on the high side right now, being challenged by Ryan Kelly. Taps the wall ever so slightly. He's got to run on Forbes. He's going to look low. Gavin looking to take the lead here in 3 and 4 to try to lead a lap. But John Forbes on the outside. Gavin has the room to slide up, but I don't think he's going to get up there in time. Forbes will maintain the outside line, going to have the run as they're side by side down the front stretch.
And across the line, the one leads that lap, so still no bonus point for Gavin Rogers. Here comes Thomas Green. Going to be seeing the three machine, of Ryan Kelly as he's making his charge forward. Kelly, Talmadge, everywhere they look, trying to find a little bit of clean air that's going to allow that front end to turn throughout the corner. But we've now got a re-emergence of a driver attempting to go for one of his best finishes of the season. Brian P. Johnson, the driver that won here back in season 4, he's attempting to get another win and get one here for season 11. It's going to be the 28 in 5th place.
Oh man, dude, Brian P. Johnson making emergence. He is making his way to the front. He had a strong playoff run as well, but ended early. So unfortunate to see that, but he's up here making his presence, letting everyone know he had a chance to be up here run for this playoff. But Gavin Rogers on Forbes are going to follow in single file again. Gavin made a strong attempt to try to get around Forbes, but just unable to complete that pass.
And as these top two drivers continue to go back and forth, the third driver that's racing for the championship, Larry Yingling, runs all the way back in 10th place. That's the red 67 machine. I don't know what has gone on since the start of this race, but Larry Yingling qualified 6th, and he just has been going backwards ever since this green flag dropped. He has just not been looking strong. Even on the long runs, there really wasn't a lot of pace being picked up. Yingling is going, it looks like he's in a search mode of just trying to figure out anything about this track. He is looking very uncomfortable at this moment.
Yeah, Larry is just not feeling like himself, it seems, on this track. He's the only driver also in the Final Four that doesn't have a win, but he has always been up front running all season, which is why he's in this position. But this track is just not being friendly to him tonight. He's running back now currently in the 10th position. He has got to get his way moving forward. He could be saving tires, though, so it might be part of his plan, but definitely sitting back in 10th is not doing him any favors.
Here's going to be Thomas Green, who I talked about the fact that he got a drive-through penalty for the 31. His first attempt to be racing with the pack has not been moving forward as quickly as you would hope. As part of the Nightmare Fuel team, that team just dominated this season. If you look at the win columns, the best finishes, you look at the team standings, it was all Forbes, Vincent Sora, as well as others. We got to go back up front because the battle for the lead, it's now a 3-horse race. Jared Talmadge has thrown his name into the hat as he's almost made contact with Gavin Rogers, as Rogers have been trying to figure out a hole. Where does he go? Inside, outside. Forbes is not giving space against that wall, as now Jarrett Talmadge side by side for the lead position.
Yeah, Jarrett Tallman's trying to get up there and play spoiler and play defense for John Forbes as well. Gavin Rogers trying to make a search to the outside. He found the hole, found the gap, and as a race car driver goes for it there, 3 wide coming out of turn 2. But Gavin, with the run on the outside down the backstretch, has got a nose out in front of John Forbes. Let's see if he can get it done here in 3 and 4, though.
A huge dive bomb move by the one machine. Gavin Rogers is going to be backing off. He's going to be going for the surge off the exit of the corner, trying to slice his way to the inside. Huge dive bomb move expected to be seen here by the 75, but he just did not close in the gap as quickly as he wanted. He'll attempt once again his own dive bomb move to the inside, trying to fully clear for the lead, but Forbes gasses it up early. Talmadge falls back. He's no longer a threat, but it's John Forbes once again just rallying on the outside. Even with that attempt from Gavin Rogers, Rogers not able to fully clear or get in nose ahead enough to lead a lap. Forbes continues to look unstoppable at this moment, but across the line, Forbes will lead that lap, but it was by the smallest of margins. That go around by 0.03 of a second.
Gavin is doing everything he can to try and lead a lap just to get that 1 extra point. That's all he's trying to do, is get that 1 extra point. It's just not working right now. Trying to make that inside line work. He has the great drive through in the turn, but it's the exit. John Forbes has got the momentum on the outside line, the preferred exit line of this track, and he just cannot complete this pass. And with Jarrett Talmadge, who is right there making it 3 wide, it kind of burned up a little bit of Gavin's stuff, but Gavin trying the outside line again, going to try to look for the hole. It's almost there, but John Forbes closes it. Gavin up into the wall.
Into the wall, going to get a little bit of a scrape, but now it's going to be seen 4 drivers battling for the lead. Jarrett Talmadge going to be the inside group for the 27. Brian P. Johnson going to be battling for 3rd place. By the going to be seeing that 28 machine, and Ryan Kelly as well. We got more drivers getting into the mix. It was once just a 2-horse race, then it was a 3, now it's a 4, make it a 6 because Seth Knoll is back in the mix. It's John Forbes, though, who continues to defend every rally that shows out here tonight. This has been a grueler as Jarrett Talmadge tries to block off Gavin Rogers. Can't do it as the 27 stuck in the middle. He'll falter backwards, and Rogers is back on the fight.
Gavin Rogers is making that outside line work. He is finding the gap and pushing his way through. Almost wasn't enough room to get to the outside of Talmadge there, but he made it work. Dug it, and he is right back on the backside of John Forbes looking, but Talmadge looking low. He's going to make a huge dive bomb move to try to get back in front of Rogers.
I'm looking at the lap times. It is crazy to see the elevation of drivers' aggression that's starting to show. Drivers are using their tires a lot more on this run. Times are already down to a 33.4 second lap time for our leaders. That's a second off of their fastest lap for John Forbes. And for the rest of the field, it took about 30 to 35 laps into a run before we saw that drop off. We're just 20 laps into this run, and we're falling off, and oh no! Trouble behind! It's Benazzi Major going for a spin. He comes back up into the track with oncoming traffic. This should bring out a caution, and caution is out. Oh no! It's Justin Malarkey that gets to brush the wall.
Justin Malarkey has to ride the wall on the outside to miss Benazzi Major. Major not watching his relative to look at the traffic coming from behind him, but unfortunate spin on the front stretch. That'll bring us out the second caution of the night. Oh, man, a lucky break for Malarkey, not getting causing any bigger of a wreck there, but we'll have to see what happens here with Benazzi Major.
As Minazzi, Larry Yingling, Thomas Green going to be around one another. The incident coming off of the exit turn 4. Not sure if there was contact or he spun on his own. Thomas Green trying to side draft and contact made. That's one of those weird ones where we know side drafting is very powerful with this next gen car, and then inching up higher and higher. And Malarkey, he saw a hole on the outside and just kept on getting tighter and tighter, and just decided, let's just keep going and see what happens. And ultimately gets a little bit of a brush. Luckily didn't T-bone. That could have been a lot worse, but the drivers up front, I'm more so curious on for Brian P. Johnson, Gavin Rogers, Jarrett Talmadge, Seth Knoll. the aggression level was just raising higher and higher. They burnt off those tires so quickly. If you pit now, take a set of tires, you're left with 2 for the rest of this race. And that's 2 tires you're stuck with for the final 100 laps of this race. This is going to be a tough call to make for the field, as we only ran 19 laps of green flag laps on that last set of tires.
Yeah, this is definitely a really tough call to make, but they did run 40 laps in that original run. So I mean, you can't not come and take tires if the rest of the field is going. So it's one of those you're darned if you do, darned if you don't kind of situations. So, I mean, everyone's going to come in. They're all going to take tires and leave 2 sets of tires left for the rest of this race. Oh man, it's going to be interesting to see who decides to run these tires out or who's going to try and save to have that way later run pace.
Seth Knoll just topping off on fuel, the 88, no tires for himself. He will giddy up and go. That's what I was curious about. Who was going to maybe risk it? Just fuel only because of having over 100 laps left. There's a chance with the aggression that was mounting up that we might have more cautions in the future. Why not take a gamble? And for the part-timer, he will take that chance. I mean, Richard, this is certainly a tough call to make, but if you're a driver who's not racing for a championship, you're just trophy hunting, you might as well try something that's completely different from the rest of the field.
Yeah, I mean, that's all he's here for. He's just trying to get another win tally, just here to have some fun. So, yeah, like you said, there's no reason to, be overly strategic. Just go out there, have fun, make a strategy call. He's going to have extra set of tires in the pits if something were to happen later in the race. So he could set himself up to be the winner of this race, being, if there's any more cautions. So he's got himself some good resource. He's gonna figure out how to save what he's got now and keep that lead in front.
As drivers looking at how they want to tackle this restart, you got Seth Knoll, who did not take tires. John Force will be on the outside for the one machine. He took 4. Everyone else in the field took 4. Gavin Rogers will be 3rd. Jared Talmadge 4th, with Ryan Kelly going to be in 5th place, with Cedric Hunter 6th, 7th, Ollie Fonseca, Larry Yingling 8th, 9th is Zach Hall, and Thomas Green finishing out our top 10 for this restart. All trying to get forward with everyone recognizing the lead is so important to get if you want to get that bonus point for the 75 of Gavin Rogers. I mean, if you're John Forbes and Rogers, I mean, I get that you're racing this hard and you don't want to give that bonus point to the 75, but if you both take each other out, Yingling is sitting in wait. He just is waiting for you guys to take each other out. We'll see if this restarts any kinder from the rest as we get ready for 100 more laps here at the Freekyfast Championship finale for your WSSR VRS Cup Series Season 11 Championship race. It's Seth Knoll, John Forbes in line. The battle for third is underway between the 75 and the 27. Old tires for now lead, but getting down into turn number 3, don't expect much from Seth Knoll, who's trying to defend.
Yeah, Seth Knoll on the older tires, 20-lap old tires versus new. The question is are they going to burn those tires up just to get around him, or are they going to sit here and wait for his tires to wear out quicker? So I think, look, right now they're just going to sit nice and pretty behind him, wait for the tires to kind of come to themselves, wait for the tires to leave Seth Knoll, and then make the pass a lot easier. And that's exactly what they're doing. Gavin Rogers looking, he still wants to get in front of John Forbes just to have that comfort, that little cushion of points. So he still has to get up there and lead a lap, though, to get that at least one extra bonus point.
And Seth Knoll already had told the field before the restart. He told everyone, I'm rolling the bottom on old tires. I'm not trying to kill anyone. I love the fact that he announced what the plan is. But for everyone else out there on the track, the inside might have been where they wish they were running at this moment, as the old tires still hold strong. John Forbes, Gavin Rogers, I think for Forbes, he's just trying to set the pace. If Rogers wants to go, then the one machine will take off and go a little bit faster. If Rogers isn't willing to tackle and pass for the lead, then the one's willing to settle. And that's the battling that's going back and forth between the field and the drivers, making their hard decisions of which choice is the better one, as Rogers, big slide off the exit of turn 4, wants to get ahead of the one machine as they're side by side heading down into turn number 1.
Gavin had a big slide almost up into Forbes's door, but Forbes was in the wall about midway through the turn. So that's what let Gavin get up next to him. But Gavin is able to slide right up in front of him. Gavin has finally got himself in front of John Forbes, but Forbes has got the run. He's going to look inside to try to take that position back away from Gavin. He's going to look to the bottom of Seth Knoll also, who is currently in the lead. They're going to go 3 wide. Gavin on the outside with the run. Gavin can finally lead his lap and get the bonus point he ever so needed.
What a bonus point that needed to be grabbed. It all from just simple mistakes. The 88 stated where he was going to go, and it just made the passes so much easier to think about. Rogers, all he needed to do was just get it to the outside of the one. Make the pass cleanly just one time, and he'll get to the lead spot, lead that lap. And this now changes the whole function of this race, because for John Forbes, a win, and if he doesn't get the most laps led, would only set them back to a tie. And that's not what he wants to have. You're seeing more drivers pushing the wall off the exit turn 4. Rogers in control where he started out tonight. He had a 3-point buffer over the one machine, and now it's a little bit nicer to have the lead position to make sure that you know where your competition is.
Gavin can breathe a little bit easy now. He's got the clean air. He's got the position in front of Forbes. He can control the pace now. He can control the air and where he wants everyone to drive. So he's got a little bit of a breather now. He doesn't have to stress too hard like he has been, running back in the 5th, 6th position. He's back up front where he likes to be, and currently the points leader. If the race were in now, he'd be the champion, but that's not the case. We still have some 90 laps to go before we crown a champion, but Gavin finally to the lead, exactly what he had wanted.
Exactly where he wants to be. And right now, looking at the other competition of Larry Yingling, he is hovering back in 10th place, just watching a gaggle of cars that are battling between one another from 5th back to 9th place. It's getting look like a madhouse, and the main reason why, there's an 88 machine on old tires, and the freshies are now to optimal heat. They look quicker. The problem, Seth Knoll, is just so fast, even on old tires. It's making it difficult to make these passes as Brian P. Johnson, Thomas Green try to utilize the outside lane, but there's just no place to really utilize that space as Ollie Fonseca continues to stay low. The back and forth battle continues on in the middle of the pack, but up front, we got to go back to the leaders. Reason why the championship 2 are side by side. Forbes takes the lead back for now. He's back to the outside. Rogers is fighting back and forth. And the championship 2, they are back to battling. And the reason why you got to battle for Gavin, you don't want to allow this one machine to take the bonus points of most laps led. You got to stay up front.
Yeah, Gavin has got to maintain this lead, got to try to lead more laps than Forbes. He doesn't want that extra point to go to Forbes' way, but Forbes, a huge launch to the inside. He's going to drift all the way up the track, lose a ton of momentum. So Gavin's going to have the speed off the turn. He's going to keep and maintain this lead. He will lead that lap, but he's not in a prime position. He's going to have the run into the turn, but Forbes is just rocketing on that outside again. Gavin is clear to move up. Let's see if he will make the slide job right in front of him. He will. He'll plant that nose or that bumper right at the nose of Forbes, but Forbes back to the inside. These two swapping back and forth the lead each and every lap.
Playing a little bit of do-si-do, and now let's play the pinching game as Gavin Rogers gets right to that outside quarter panel of the one, trying to loosen them up, not allow the one to get the better exit off the corner as they come across the line. Forbes will lead that lap, but they will stay side-by-side drag racing into turn number 1. With all of this back and forth as Forbes, way too tight, pushes up, not able to keep it side-by-side, and you can see just a minor error. Too much speed on the entry just kills all your momentum on the backstretch.
Yeah, just too hard into the turn to wash the car up, way too tight. Saw the run Gavin had, did the respectful thing, got out of the gas, got the car back into control, got it rotated, let Gavin have that position to not cause any kind of incident or wreck. So actual really respectful driving from Forbes there to realize what his position was and what could have happened.
Fighting all around as the field continues the search on where they feel the most comfortable. You look at the two drivers outside of our top 2. That's Jarrett Talmadge as well as Ryan Kelly, teammates of some of these championship contenders. Jarrett Talmadge, teammate of John Forbes. Ryan Kelly, teammate of Larry Yingling. The only driver of a championship 3 that are still out on track that doesn't have a teammate, that's Gavin Rogers, looking for allies, looking for friends. anyone that's willing to help him out. But honestly, this championship is all on his own back of the 75. He's going to have to win this on his own. But you look at the rest of this competition, I mean, for Gavin Rogers, we've called other leagues of Gavin. We've seen the speed, how he can dominate other leagues. We always said we got to put him in a league where he's got more competition. He joined the WSSR back in season 9, and it has been a journey to watch him grow as a driver. He first started out as being kind of a pole sitter award merchant. He was just taking every pole award you could search for. iRacing then changed up this next-gen car, and Gavin's been reassessing himself, refining his own speed. Qualifying pace hasn't been there, but race pace certainly has. It's been more of, can he find the right strategy to win? Last week, he finally got that monkey off of his back of he can win at an oval. Here tonight, he might have to win at his second oval for himself, and he's dueling with one of the best in the WSSR VRS Cup Series of John Forbes. And Richard, this is honestly what the building blocks have been for this 75, for him to finally emerge as a driver that is competing and staying up front, not just a driver that's inside of the top 5.
Yeah, I think the one thing that really kind of set him to want to be better on the ovals is when he came into WSSR back in season 9, he was called the road course ringer. He won all the road course races that season and has just straight dominated anytime they went to a road course. This season, not the case. With the updates they did to the next gen car, Gavin's speed just wasn't there like it normally has been, but he has finally found his groove. He's found what he needs to do, and his long run pace has been a lot better than I've seen in a while with Gavin. And it proved last week at Richmond, he did have the long run pace, but Thomas Green is sliding on the inside. It looks like
he left the server, so no caution will be thrown. The 31 just immediately when he saw that he was going to be sliding a potential caution, Alt F forward and left the server immediately.
Wow, that is a huge respect for Thomas Green there. Instead of bringing out a caution and disrupting this championship run for these drivers, he just decided to Alt F4. He's not here for a championship run. He's just here to race and have fun. So a great call by him, something you don't normally see. So huge props to Thomas Green to keep this great race back under green to let these drivers race it out.
And Thomas Green, what a season he had. Sadly, it concludes in that fashion. John Forbes, on the other hand, a driver who has completely emerged as one of the favorites. We saw on Monday nights, the one machine dominated in the truck series. He found himself winning 4 of the 8 championships. Could have been 5, it could have been 6 championships. The luck just wasn't there in the first half of his truck series career. Swept the final 4 seasons in such a dominant fashion, took all the awards, the most wins, most top 5s, every award you could look at. He moved over to the WSSR Cup Series. It was a big learning experience from the trucks to the next gen. You got a lot of help from outside drivers and also joining with teammates that had more experience in the next gen car. And John Forbes, the leaps and bounds that he's made in just 4 seasons in running with the WSSR has been incredible. Last season, it wasn't the favorite to win the championship, but he got the job done when it mattered. He found the clutch factor. Here for season 11, it's been pure dominance, and he's trying to continue to prove that he is the top dog. He switched his number from the 11 to the 1, because if you're the champion of the last season, you've got the ability to do so. And right now, he is trying to rip this lead back away from Gavin Rogers, who's been in complete control. But the problem for the 1 and the 75, they've been racing so aggressively, it's now given Talmadge a chance to get in the mixes side by side for the lead. But also it's bringing in Ryan Kelly, Brian P. Johnson, who were the fastest drivers coming to the end of that last run before the late caution came out.
Yeah, they were the fastest drivers in the longer run, and they're starting to emerge and catch up to these front drivers. But Gavin Rogers and Forbes, they keep swapping back and forth in that lead. They throw a huge move on each other just to have the move returned in the next turn or two. So these two putting on a show up front. But yes, Talmadge has caught up to these guys. Ryan Kelly is making his way up front as well. The downside about this top 5 is Talmadge is teammates with Forbes, so he can help Forbes any way he possibly can, whereas Gavin's still kind of his own man in no man's land trying to win this race.
I think that's exactly why we're seeing Jarrett Talmadge just ripping the top, trying to play the defensive line, not allow drivers to get to his outside, just trying to hold everyone back, allow the top two to just race this thing out. And it has been pleasure to watch this show of the drivers going back and forth between John Forbes, Gavin Rogers, and again, there is a third member of this championship race. That's Larry Yingling, who looms back in 9th position. I'm looking at his pace for the 67. He's running pretty similar to a lot of the guys that are 4th back to 9th place where he currently is at. It just seems like the early quick pace, the short run, there's not a lot of speed in this 67. It's the long run. He's protecting his tires pretty well, but he falls so far back, he just can't gain that time back for Yingling. He's gonna need a mistake from our top two, and with the way that they're racing back and forth between one another, they might be clean, they might be racing at times, kind of fun for us to watch. But we've seen Forbes, we've seen Rogers. They've had to get their hands dirty at times to get the win. And for the 1 and the 75, they better be careful that they don't make it too mixy between one another, that they throw this championship away as Rogers late move to the inside. As well, we still have one more pit stop before this race is over, as they've got about a 60-lap run that they can take the fuel. I mean, when do you want to take that final pit stop? Most likely at 105, maybe 110 is what these drivers are looking for. It could stretch a little bit further than that, but Richard, I think that's going to be the fun part of this race. Who can maximize on a green flag pit stop if we go there? Because John Forbes has been the best at green flag pit stops.
Yeah, John Forbes has been the better strategist when it comes to the green flag pit stops, a decision on when to pit. So it's going to be really interesting, like you were saying, to see who comes out on top with that decision being made. When will these guys dive into the pit road, get those fresh rubbers, and top off on fuel to the end of this race? That can make or break a race. And if that's true, John Forbes gets loose at it too. He's going to lose a ton of ground. Talmadge is going to be a teammate, let him up in line, but Brian B. Johnson gives a huge shot to Talmadge to try to get him going. But wow, almost a huge moment for Forbes.
A big shot, and I think that might have given just a slight nose front end damage for Brian B. Johnson with that contact. He just wasn't expecting to see these drivers woe up as much as they did, and that did give front end damage to the 28 of Johnson, who was flying up through the field. It's gonna be frustrating to know I just got brake checked on the back stretch because he was trying to allow his teammate up.
Yeah, that is definitely a frustrating moment. No driver wants to be brake checked just because someone's letting a teammate up, and that's damage because of that situation. Also, nothing that Brian B. Johnson could have done. You're not expecting someone to brake check on a straightaway like that. So, unfortunate to see, that's going to completely hurt his straight line speed when he's out of the draft. This might hurt his chance to try to get up here and run for the lead. But Gavin Rogers back in front. Forbes still trying to chase it down, but Brian B. Johnson still making that inside line work, trying to make a move on Talmadge, but getting side by side out of the turn. You need to be clearly in front of him if you want to make this inside line work, and he just can't get there.
And with everyone being side by side, it's kind of killing momentums at this run, but it also is giving a chance for drivers that are further on back of protecting their tires and waiting to start close in. Our top 6 are running with being side by side 2/10 slower than some of the drivers that are back in 10th and 11th position. We're about to see this pack that once was all together to start on this restart over 28 laps ago be clustered back together, or at least their top 10 within a second if they continue at this pace.
Yeah, Gavin Rogers gets a little bit into the wall there, but yeah, these guys in the back, they've been saving their tires for this later run, and they've gotten up here. Now they just got to make the move to get around these guys. Right now, they're just kind of being held up. They're just not able to get into the clean air and find the line to get the run to get around them. So, but Ryan Kelly is knocking on the door of Talmadge. He's trying to make the move with Brian B. Johnson as Gavin also has a moment, gets a little loose out of the turn. That's going to allow Forbes to close up a little bit. He's going to be side by side as they go into turn 3.
Side by side, and it's going to be the one dive bomb move. Trying to go with the slide job pass. Rogers going to have the better momentum. He's going to try to get to the inside of the one machine as they cross the line. But all these big dashing moves, slight contact on entry. I'm getting concerned about the front tires for these drivers. That right front tire can only handle so much of these dive bomb moves throughout a run. I mean, if we continue this for another 20 more laps, 15, 20 more laps, I mean, one of these dive bomb moves that you're trying to make, you might not have a front end that allows you to slow down in time before you get into that outside wall.
I mean, yeah, that's very true. These cars are going to end up washing really heavily when you burn that right front up, but we've seen John Forbes and Gavin Rogers get loose out of turn 2 each. I mean, it could be that right rear that's being eaten up also, as a huge shove Gavin gives to John Forbes as he got up in front of Talmadge. But Ryan Kelly, a huge move to the inside. He's making a move. He's potentially going to pass all 3 of these guys in 1 and 2 as Cedric Hunter gets loose.
Cedric Hunter goes with a big slide. He'll keep it to the inside, still sideways. He'll try to get rolling here, but he's got to be careful to straighten this vehicle out. He will do so. We stay green as Ryan Kelly, like you said, huge dive bomb move. Went for the pass. Everyone slowed down. The 3 didn't, and taking the lead is going to be Ryan Kelly as he'll lead that lap and kind of stealing away this top position of a win bonus point for now. You look at other drivers that are trying to do a similar move. Seth Knoll, he's now closed in. He's back in 5th position. That 88-28, they're going to be attempting to make a similar passing move of just dive bombing the inside, and they've been protecting their tires enough where that move will work for themselves as Kelly in control, trying to put the dirty air on the ones from bumper to enable Larry Yingling to close in on our front runners.
Fantastic move from Ryan Kelly. He was able to plant that car right on the front nose of John Forbes. Gavin trying to look to the outside of John Forbes, trying to get back in front of him, but not able to. But Ryan Kelly is able to get a great gap to that of John Forbes now. He has saved those tires, and he is starting to gap these guys. But man, this fight for 2nd place and 3rd place still on as they've got Ryan Kelly just in their sights, and Gavin Rogers still trying to make the move. Will he be able to slide up in front of Forbes? He will not. Side by side again down the front stretch.
And you can kind of tell by Gavin Rogers, he feels so much more comfortable on the outside, but just gets checked up on the entry of turn 1. And Jarrett Talmadge fights to the inside groove of the 75. They're going to be 3 wide exiting turn 2 for 2nd place. Still 3 wide. Gavin Rogers stuck in a nightmare fuel sandwich. He'll falter back, get in line, a little bit of a draft slide down into turn number 1. Forbes close to the wall, keeps it off the wall. But Gavin Rogers slides up in front of the 1, and here we go. The do-si-do back and forth. Who wants the inside? Who wants the outside? And it continues on as Kelly, he isn't pulling away, but he's keeping it still, watching these drivers in his mirror.
Yeah, he's doing that, and John Forbes again pushed really tight. Saw Gavin with a massive run. Oh, but they're into each other. Oh, and they're down the inside. Forbes is spinning, though, and Gavin is pulling away. Caution is out.
As the 1 slides, caution flag waves, and we knew the moment was going to happen. They were going to get into one another. Luckily, nobody gets into the wall, but man, you could just had a sense this was ramping up, and this is around the window where you can make it to the end on fuel, so you can probably scrape away that green flag pit stop. It's now, get your tires, get your fuel, and see who's going to race to the end as we take another look at this action. Richard, I mean, we had a feeling, and once again, they finally make contact, and it was on the backstretch.
Yeah, you see Forbes, he pushed it hard into the turn, pushed high, but then got a little loose and just did not give room to Gavin. Got up into his quarter panel. Great work from Gavin to keep that car straight. I almost thought for sure Gavin was going to go around to the inside wall, but both the drivers able to keep the cars clean. No damage from either one of them, it seems. Just some tire wear after that slide from John Forbes.
And both drivers just trying everything against one another. And contact made. Forbes will fall now to 12th place as he'll go into the pit stops. And here's your live timing based off where the drivers run currently. Gavin Rogers ahead by 7 points over Larry Yingling, and finding himself being 10 points over John Forbes. Vincent Sora's race is over and done. It's so frustrating to see that his internet wasn't able to hold out to allow him to even attempt the major underdog race, but based on what we're seeing here tonight, I think it would have been tough to stop Forbes, Rogers on them getting that bonus point. I think it would have been snuffed out in the middle of this race, but I gotta feel bad. Hearts out for that 51 machine, but for the drivers that are racing off of pit road this go around, 4 tires and fuel expected for everyone out on track, and Ryan Kelly, Jarrett Talmadge, Seth Knoll, Gavin Rogers gonna be your top 4.
Yeah, unfortunate to see for Vincent Sora. He had the light at the end of the tunnel, and then just things out of his own control, does not even have a chance to try and make that dream a reality. So it was unfortunate to see Vincent Sora happen to him that way, but I mean, it has been a one heck of a show. These drivers are definitely going to want to go back and rewatch anytime they can, because this fight for this championship has been tooth and nail, and you can see it. They have stopped giving each other every inch possible as Gavin and John get into each other, the two top runners for this championship.
Well, for us up in the booth, that is honestly a break that I think is needed for the drivers with how much everything's heating up. We're going to take a break as well, as we are going to take our first commercial break of the evening. We still have 60 laps to go before this race is over. It's been a pleasure to give you the call, the Freekyfast Championship finale for the WSSR VRS Cup Series Season 11 Championship race. We will be back after this for the conclusion.
This is our VRS Direct Force Pro wheelbase, which is the heart of any sim racing setup. It's designed to give you the best possible feedback for all sim racing titles, and it was co-developed with the world's best sim racers to make sure it's fit for competition.
Right from the beginning of the development of the VRS systems, we threw it straight in the deep end. We were racing World Championship level events, and that allowed us to get the best possible idea of what we needed in that competitive environment to be able to push the product forward to obviously what you're seeing today.
I think the most important features are just having really good detail through the wheel. You know, I think the software and how it kind of interacts and sends you the detail makes a huge difference. And for me, since using the VRS Direct Force Pro, that's greatly improved my wanting to drive, just because it's so much more fun. You get more detail.
And other than that, of course, the feedback is really important. You know, heavy but also very subtle forces behind it, so you can constantly feel what the car is doing. I think that's really important, not just for racing, but when you really have to go deep into building a setup, you really need to feel what the car is doing. And obviously the rig arm isn't really moving around, so you need to feel all those subtle little things in the wheel.
The wheelbase makes use of an industry-proven Midge servo motor, directly feeding up to 20 Newton meters of torque to your steering wheel with close to zero mechanical notchiness, damping, or friction. The shaft can be equipped with an adapter to make it suitable for any wheel. The brain of the wheelbase is within the compact USB motor controller, which features a fanless power supply for silent operation and a dynamic brake resistor to provide the smoothest and most responsive operation possible. Our firmware is provided on our website to give you full control of the wheelbase, with multiple profiles for different sim racing titles, completely customizable to your liking. And it's all designed to help you get on pace faster. You can shop for the VRS Direct Force Pro wheelbase and all our other hardware directly on our website, vrs.racing.
And we are back, ladies and gentlemen, for the Freekyfast Championship finale at Homestead for the WSSR VRS Cup Series Season 11 Championship race. John Forbes, Gavin Rogers get into one another to bring out our most recent caution under this restart. John Forbes attempted to go 3 wide in the early going, did not work out. He's finally gotten to the outside wall. We'll see how much a space is given. This one machine declared all the way back in the middle of the regular season at Michigan after making for some a controversial move. Others, it was fair game, said, I'm willing to get into drivers, move them around, and it's fair game if drivers want to do that to me. Well, even throughout last season, this season, John Forbes has not made a lot of friends. He's made a lot of enemies. I think his teammates might be his only allies at this moment. And the one not given any space to move forward. He's attempting to make these big daring moves. But Richard, it is tough for the one machine. He still lingers in 10th place. We know he can get up front. The question is, how quickly can he do it? And another driver that's moving forward is the 67 Larry Yingling, but he's had one driver that's not allowing him to go forward. That's Ali Fonseca in the 24.
Yeah, 67 trying to get around Ali Fonseca, and Fonseca's not allowing him to do that. But John Forbes back there in the 10th position. We saw him make some huge moves right at the green flag drop, but he seems to kind of just have chilled out. He's going to, I feel like he's going to try and save his tires now and wait for that longer run and hope this stays green the rest of the way. Try to see if he can save tires, but at the same time, he can't wait overly too long because this is going to be a very long green flag run pending any cautions. So This is going to be the longest drive these guys have ever run, or that they've run tonight. But John Forbes not being aggressive right now. He's just kind of falling in line, getting into a groove. But Gavin Rogers up in third. He is going to be leading the point situation, but Larry Yingling is trying to get up there also, try to get in front of Gavin Rogers.
I first want to bring up our race report if we're able to kind of give everyone a breakdown. If you're just joining us, welcome to joining with us here on Freekyfast Broadcasting. My name is Sam Dyer. With me over the booth is Richard Wolsifer, and we have Robert Moyer Jr. running production in the background. We've had 5 cautions so far here tonight, 14 lead changes. And looking at how this, oh no, it's Brian P. Johnson going for a slide. Hard contact to the inside wall, and caution is out. There's number 4. And you can see our race report does work as there's the number switching for cautions. Oh my goodness, Brian P. Johnson going for a ride off the exit of turn 2, hard into that little kink on the back stretch. And for the 28, for the 28 machine, not the way he wanted his season to end, as running hard around Cedric Hunter and Zach Hall.
Yeah, running hard, he just gets a little loose. Unfortunate to see, he was making some great progress when it gets to long run and just getting loose out of 2. We've seen a couple of drivers do that and just hard lick to that inside wall, breaks that left front tire on his car. That's going to be some major damage. He potentially could just call it a night, and unfortunate to see for Brian P. Johnson.
And Johnson's expected to head into pit road. The question is for drivers, they only ran 9 laps. Fuel-wise, you're still good to take it to the end. Tire-wise, believe everyone but one driver just has 1 set left underneath them. Seth Knoll still has an extra set to work with. He's got 2 before this race is over. So the 88, if you want to, could head into pit road. Everyone else, the decision to go into pit road and take a set of tires, this seems to be way too early to make that call, and Knoll doesn't even take the chance, as you're going to see Manazzi Major as well as Colby DiCarlo and Brian P. Johnson. Those are drivers who have been dealing with damage, going to get more damage repair. But this makes things interesting with this caution flag coming out on the fact of when do you use that final set of tires for everyone else out there on track?
Yeah, and that's the biggest question here, is when these drivers will decide to take these final sets of tires that they have. But I mean, at this point, you're not coming in for this caution, as we saw. Nobody did. You're going to be able to run it out on fuel, so there's no reason to make a green flag pit stop. Now it's just, okay, do I want a chance going in and taking tires at the next caution, or do I want a chance for maybe 1 or 2 more cautions to happen? But with the amount of cars that are left on the track running, you're almost wanting to guess that you're not going to be taking another set of tires unless there's 1 more caution. I don't think there's going to be any more after that.
And with us under pacing and no one going into pit road, I'm curious if we can pull in one of our championship contenders, Gavin Rogers. He's leading up in 3rd. We're not able to talk with him because he's in a different Discord with his own crew strategizing. The next one that we could talk to, John Forbes, caught up in that mess with Gavin Rogers. I'm curious if we can pull in that one machine who runs in 9th place and get the thoughts of the one machine. We'll see if we can queue him up. John, it's Sam and Richard over the booth. You got us?
I do.
Well, it was fantastic racing in the first half of this race between yourself and Gavin Rogers. You get caught up in that wreck. You fell back to 9th. What's your confidence level right now running deep in the field, trying to get back up to go for your back-to-back championship?
Yeah, obviously it's not the spot we want to be in at this point, but luckily a small field tonight, so we're only 9th. I can see Gavin, I can see Larry right in front of me, so anything can happen. I think it's going to come down to maybe when we take this last stop. I mean, there's going to be a lot of strategy, whether we get a caution, when to take the tires like last season. So a lot of things to factor in, and it's not the worst spot to be in because I'm kind of in the catbird seat as far as strategy goes on seeing what they do, and I can choose what I want to do based off of that. So that's just kind of taking the positive out of the situation right now. Obviously, I'd rather be up front leading like we were. So we'll try to get back there and see how the rest of this race goes.
Well, John, we'll send you back to your team. Get ready for this restart, but good luck trying to get back up front for this championship.
Thank you.
And that's Nightmare Fuel driver John Forbes in the one machine, restarting back in 9th place. Up front, his teammate Jared Talmadge will be in 2nd. Ryan Kelly going to be the control vehicle as we get ready for this restart. And you are watching the Freekyfast Championship finale at Homestead for the WSSR VRS Cup Series Season 11. Last race of the championship round. And green flag is back out in the air. You're seeing Cedric Hunter, heavy block. John Forbes has been making the same move all season long of trying to force it 3 wide on the inside. Not going to be able to make it that move, that go around, but up on the outside groove. It's the 88 of Seth Knoll trying to build a huge run for second position to get by Jarrett Talmadge. The race is on, Richard. What a restart there, though.
Wild restart. Seth Knoll is just throwing that car anywhere he can to try to get back up to the lead. Gavin Rogers stuck behind Jarrett Talmadge, teammate of John Forbes, but Forbes making the outside work again outside of Zach Hall, but now he's behind Cedric Hunter. Let's see what move he tries to do. Is he's going to stay high? Zach Hall going to stay low also. Gavin Rogers just a few cars ahead of John Forbes, but as long as Gavin Rogers stays ahead of John, he will have the points lead, but Larry Yingling is now making his way forward, is in front of Gavin. Gavin to the inside looking to take it.
And for Gavin Rogers, it's simple. If he stays ahead of his competition, the championship is his. If Larry gets ahead, Larry has to be at least 3 positions ahead. As we look at the live point standings now, it's just a 6-point difference between Gavin Rogers and John Forbes, and it's just another 6 points difference for Larry Yingling. They're tied for second place, bouncing back and forth as the one of John Forbes is trying to gain positions forward, but Larry Yingling, he has to get ahead of this 75. Hope that Gavin Rogers falters back. And if Larry can win this race, that also would give him a massive boost on points. That's 2 extra bonus points of leading a lap he still hasn't done, as well as winning this race. That could change everything for this final push.
Definitely could. So Larry Yingling has got to race this race hard. He has to get up front, try to get that lead, and try to be there at the end of this race. Gavin Rogers, he just has to play it calm. Stay in front of your competition or stay around your competition. All he has to do. He doesn't have to focus on winning this race, and he's doing a great job right now just kind of maintaining and controlling what he can to stay in front of these guys.
Ryan Kelly going to be up front, trying to pull away from the rest of the field. Seth Knoll going to be in second place, but your championship battle, 6 points the difference between Gavin Rogers, Sage Forbes, and Larry Yingling. Vincent Sora officially out of this race. Also, Thomas Green officially out of this race. Brian P. Johnson still sits in pit road, 5 laps down. 14 drivers are on the lead lap currently, and John Forbes battling Collie Fonseca for that 8th place, 7th place position. And at this moment, Forbes is trying everything, even getting into Ollie Fonseca. The 24 and the 1 roughing into one another, and the elbows are already out. And this is for a 7th place position right now, Richard.
I mean, it's for 7th place position for Ollie Fonseca, but for Forbes, it's a point further and closer to Gavin in the championship, which is more important. So he's doing everything he can, it looks like, to try to get around these guys, even putting his elbows out. Ollie Fonseca is going to look back low to John Forbes. He's going to try to get to the inside and try and challenge John Forbes again as they're side by side in the middle of turn 3 and 4.
Everyone trying to figure out where you need to be if you want to go for this championship. You've got the 3 drivers that are hunting for it. Gavin Rogers in 4th, Larry Yingling in 5th, and 7th place runner of John Forbes. Every point so crucial. It's going to be Gavin Rogers with the slight advantage as he will keep it high, trying to stay ahead of Larry Yingling. Yingling not able to keep it side by side as the 75 just carrying too much momentum. Yingling, he's searching. He's going back and forth, but they're closing in on Jarrett Talmadge, whose tires have just fallen away. He really doesn't have the grip right now to keep position. But also the battle for the lead. Seth Knoll is on the fight to try to take that top spot. And honestly, for the 88, again, being a part-timer, being a threat to take that 1 bonus point away, that could really assist Gavin Rogers over anyone here tonight. As no, take it back, Seth Knoll, big save for the 88 machine, and Ollie Fonseca with the big slide for the 24.
Oh, 2 huge slides coming out of turn 2. That has been the problem for self-spins, it seems like, for these guys. But great wheelmanship by both drivers, able to keep those cars straight, keep this race under green flag conditions still. But Seth Knoll, almost had a big moment. He was able to keep it straight and still going to keep challenging to take this win. I mean, Seth Knoll is every race, he is always up there racing for that first position, even top 5s. And he's doing it again tonight as he's trying to challenge Ryan Kelly for that lead position.
Trying to put the pressure on. We right on board with John Forbes up to 7th. He sees in front of him Cedric Hunter as well as Larry Yingling. Cedric Hunter has just been a thorn in the side of John Forbes. talked about the fact that Ford didn't really make that many friends over this season. There were a lot of drivers that talked about, I've got a receipt. When will I utilize it? And maybe not take John Forbes out or take their other competition out, but more so of make the pass so much harder than it usually would be. And Cedric Hunter certainly on this most recent restart has made this whole entire run be a real just handful for the one machine.
Yeah, Cedric Hunter's been doing a good job taking the lines away from John Forbes, forcing him in places he might not want to run right now. So, I mean, Cedric Hunter, he's doing a great job, but not really so much right now. He's got a pretty big gap back to John Forbes. Forbes is probably just sitting there waiting. He knows what's ahead of him. He knows a receipt that could be checked in at this point. But Cedric Hunter, he is currently the wall that is blocking John Forbes from moving his way forward back to the front to get in front of Gavin. So right now, Gavin can breathe kind of, freshly. Still sitting in the 4th position with Larry Yingling right behind him, but Gavin doing a good job making that inside line work, trying to save those tires, along with the majority of drivers behind him as well. So, but Seth Knoll to the lead, and he's going to walk away with it with a half a second lead currently.
As we are seeing these drivers all searching for chances to battle forward, I think we're going to see a lot of these front runners get into major action here in the next 5 to 6 laps. So this gives us time to give our final shout outs to the amazing sponsors that helped out throughout season 11. We already said thank yous to our virtual racing school, GTR simulators. We also want to say thank you to Trophy Smack. Head on over to trophysmack.com and check out all their amazing trophies, rings, belts, and more that you can purchase if you're into fantasy football, sim racing, or any other trophy provider systems you're looking for. Trophy Smack is your one-stop shop to go. From pre-made to custom-made, you can find them all. And remember, when purchasing, remember to use the promo code WSSR SMACK at checkout to receive 10% off on your Wall Smack purchase at trophysmack.com. Wall Smack is a metal plate that you can put on your wall, put on your shelf, as they have a stand or their wall-safe magnet system that can protect your wall and also hold up your wall smack. Go check out all the amazing products at trophysmack.com. We also want to say thank you to our trophy provider for season 11, Sim Precision Prints. Sim Precision Prints, precision printed performance delivered. Head on over to simprecisionprints.shop and use the promo code WSSR at checkout for 10% off on all orders over $50. From anything that you want to try to get from sim gear to just one-of-a-kind pieces with a 3D printer, go check out again simprecisionprints.shop and see all that you can get from a 3D printer. Thank you so much to all the amazing sponsors that came along for season 11. Richard, it's been a fantastic season, top to bottom, but it's crazy to say we've got ourselves just 38 more laps to go before we get to crown a champion. Right now, Gavin Rogers is in control based off of the live points, but he's got 2 drivers ahead of him that he's trying to figure out how to get by as Larry Yingling just sits and waits behind him.
Like Gavin Rogers is trying to get around Jarrett Talmadge, teammate of John Forbes also, so Talmadge ain't making it easy. But Gavin, again, he just has to play it calm right now. He's got the points lead. He has got a good gap between the guys behind him as well, so he can play it calm, make this pass comfortably instead of being aggressive, and I think that's what he's kind of doing, just biding his time, using this inside line to save those tires up for when, John Forbes gets up close to him. But John Forbes is looking at the left quarter panel of Cedric Hunter. He's trying to make a look and make a pass to get around him because time is running out to get to the front.
And for Cedric Hunter, John Forbes, these were the 2 drivers that were battling it out for who was going to take the Season 10 championship. It came down to the final 3 laps before we really got an absolute picture that John Forbes was going to be the champion. It was a battle back and forth. They were tied. One was up by 1 point. One was up by a single point the next lap. It was such a fun duel to watch. A season later, it's Cedric Hunter that could be the thorn in the side of the one from him not having a chance to go for a back-to-back championship. Still incredible season for the one machine. He's won the most. He's gotten the most in practically every stat you look at except for the pole award. This one machine has just been on top of the world for season 11. But right now, he needs to find a way to get by the 13 and the 76 and the 67, and the 75 immediately if he wants to get into a better spot to win this championship. Seth Knoll trying to pull away. The battling up front is incredible. We have to stay on screen here because that 13 and the 1, I got a feeling fireworks are getting ready to fire off, but Cedric Hunter just lets the 1 go on by. Reason why? He's fighting back on the inside, trying to accelerate forward. The 1's hoping for a better run on the outside. They'll be side-by-side drag racing their way forward. Hunter is not giving up on this position just yet.
Cedric Hunter is definitely not going to let John Forbes just have this position. He shoots to the inside. He's going to drift up. He will not have the run to be able to get side by side. That will allow John Forbes to get around Cedric Hunter easily. Cedric Hunter cannot challenge anymore Forbes. The gates are open. He is now behind Larry Yingling, and his sights are set for Gavin Rogers.
The 3 drivers that are fighting for the championship now in line with one another. 4th, 5th, 6th on your leaderboard, and the points are lined up as so. It is a 4-point difference between Gavin Rogers and John Forbes. Rogers is fighting for 3rd position currently. Forbes trying to get at least 1 more position up to get to the back bumper. That's 75. Yingling, who's been playing patient. He's been playing nice. Will he continue playing nice here for this race, or will he bring his elbows out? We get a little bit more aggressive here this evening as Gavin Rogers is still dueling for every position possible to just keep the points gap as big as it can be before that 67 and 1 run him down.
They're definitely trying to run him down. He was able to finally get his nose to the outside of number 3 of Ryan Kelly and get around him nice and clean on the backstretch. Now his sights are set back again to Jarrett Talmadge. He's trying to get around these guys, get up front, get that point gap to a more comfortable gap for himself to John Forbes, who is still right behind Larry Yingling. Both of them still making ground, getting ready to catch up to Ryan Kelly and make their move. Question is, how long will it take them to get around the 3 car? Because Gavin Rogers, he has got the tires. It looks like he is starting to make moves to get to the front. He is starting to challenge Jarrett Talmadge for the 2nd position.
And both drivers of the 75 and the 1 machine ran similar lap times to the lap previous, and even this go around, John Forbes slight advantage for the 1 machine. Problem is the fact that he's got 3 machines in between him and that 75. It could all come down to that 1 wreck, that 1 moment. Gavin Rogers, John Forbes getting into one another around that lap 90 marker. That could have been the sealing deal that put Gavin Rogers in this position of success. For Forbes, you got to think all of that dueling, the contact, the squeezing of the 75, was it worth it at the end of the day? Because you've been fighting to move forward, but you've only been able in the past 40 to 50 laps move 2 to 3 positions. Now Yingling, hard pinch, trying to keep the 1 behind him. They'll continue to stay side by side, and Yingling will hold position as they roar down into turn number 3. Yingling holds for now, but Yingling is just not rolling over. He continues to pinch, trying to keep the 1 at bay as they continue to exit at turn number 4. John Forbes just looks too strong. He's clear. The race is on, but it's another driver down. Gavin Rogers, he's got 1 in between. Your live points at this current time is a 4-point difference between Rogers and John Forbes.
Point difference, but still Forbes not only has to get around Ryan Kelly, he's also got to get around Gavin Rogers. That's not an easy feat. They've been really good at going back and forth with each other, but he's still got to get around him. He still has, still has 25, 26 laps left. But, I mean, it's not an easy feat to get around both Ryan Kelly and Gavin Rogers still. Gavin's still looking towards Jarrett Talmadge, trying to make the move on him to get even further ahead. But Forbes has got some good pace behind him and trying to catch up to Kelly in the number 3.
Trying everything in his power right now. It's just settle in, cool off those tires as much as you can, and see if there's anything left. The 1 of John Forbes, the 75 of Gavin Rogers, they've been matching pace between one another. Slight advantage to the 1 at times, but you can tell Rogers wants to get by Jarrett Talmadge. It's not a must. I think that's the one thing for Gavin he can take in for himself. He does not have to pass the drivers ahead of him. All he has to do is just make sure John Forbes doesn't get by Gavin Rogers. Rogers just has 1 goal, and he certainly is getting the help from Ryan Kelly, but Kelly doesn't look like he's got the tires to stop the 1 machine. John Forbes, once again, dives down low, and if you're Jared Talmadge, John Forbes, the teammates, they've got the sandwich. Gavin Rogers lingers in third, but what will the 27 do to help a teammate get a championship here tonight as Talmadge finally drops down low, trying to put a little bit of dirty air on the front bumper of that 75.
Trying to take a line away from Gavin Rogers, make him push a little tight, but oh, Talmadge looks like he got into the wall a little bit. There's a puff of smoke right in front of Gavin Rogers, but Gavin is not deterred. He is not paying attention to his mirror as he should not be. Just pay attention to the drivers in front of you, pay attention to the race in front of you, because that's all you have to do. Keep the cars that come in and keep John Forbes behind you, and this championship can be yours.
Another lap ticking away, 25 laps to go here tonight, as it has been, 24, excuse me, as the drivers are fighting back and forth all throughout tonight. We saw Gavin Rogers, John Forbes, they just kept beating and banging. They were going back and forth on who had the outside, who had the inside. And here tonight, Gavin Rogers entered this evening with a 3-point buffer. John Forbes tried everything in his power to get every bonus point, was only able to get the one of leading a lap here tonight. Rogers matched that. Now it's on to John Forbes. It might have to be a win with Seth Knoll ahead of these drivers and everyone running similar pace. The top four might not just turn into a duel of third and fourth. It might be a duel to take the win and take the championship.
John Forbes, he's got to look forward to that win. If John Forbes can win this, that will pretty much solidify him winning the championship. But he's got 3 cars to get ahead of still. And in one of them, his competitor, Gavin, who has not been easy for him to pass. Every time they pass, they would always flip-flop the next lap or next turn. So Forbes has got a huge wall ahead of him, but he does have a teammate. Talmadge can help him out, but the question is how will Talmadge do that? How will Talmadge help Forbes get around Rogers and get to the lead? We'll have to see, but that gap is closing in from Forbes and Gavin. Gavin doesn't seem deterred, is still committed to that inside line.
Still staying low, Forbes staying high, and they continue to just swap whatever lane they want to be on. It has been an incredible season, but it is closing to the end. 21 laps to go here tonight. 21 laps to solidify who's going to be the champion. John Forbes trying to join a list of drivers that have gone back-to-back when they have won their championship. Larry Yingling did it first back in season 2 and 3. Then Vincent Sora went back-to-back in season 4 and 5. Benjamin Nelson, the most recent driver to go back-to-back, did it in 7 and 8. We have not seen a back-to-back champion since then. We thought Hall had a chance. At moments, Forbes didn't know if he was going to get it done here for this season, but he's gotten to the back bumper of Gavin Rogers. John Forbes is here, and he wants to make the statement that he was the definitive driver. There's no championship number curse. He just wants to go for more wins, more championships. That's the only thing that this one machine knows how to do, as he is side by side with Gavin Rogers.
Gavin Rogers loses that spot to John Forbes. Gavin has got to readjust where he's driving. He might have saved some tires. He might have been trying to save some. Let John Forbes catch up to him and burn that stuff up. But we'll have to see what Gavin can do. But it does look like Forbes has still got some major grip and some huge power behind that car. But Gavin not giving up too easily. He's still looking, trying to keep that gap as close as he can to Forbes. But Gavin, he's running out of time. He has got to keep that distance close just so Forbes can't gain any more positions.
As the drivers trying to go back and forth on where they would be, Rogers fighting strong on the outside. Talmadge continues to linger on the outside groove, but Talmadge looks to be backing up. Forbes is almost clear for second, and you're gonna see the switch up. We are officially tied. Talmadge goes low. Contact is made. Talmadge into Rogers. The teammate factor, it does strike as Talmadge gets into the 75, and now it's all in the hands of John Forbes. Forbes just has to run down Seth Knoll as Rogers watches this championship just float away. He's got a 1-point advantage, but Forbes could take that all away with winning this race.
Forbes has got to get around Seth Knoll to take this championship, but Gavin has got to find some speed, got to get back up there. I don't think that can happen. Gavin has just not had this later run pace like Forbes has had, but Forbes has still got to get around Seth Knoll. That has been a challenge in itself, the hardest car to pass in this field. Seth has had phenomenal pace all race, and he is still in control, but Forbes is closing that gap little by little, but does he have enough time to get it done?
I know the fans out on the chat are not happy with that move, and I don't think anyone's happy about it. You want to see teammates maybe block, but you don't want to see absolute carnage and contact be made, and that's just what was happening there. You had a feeling that maybe if there was going to be contact, it was going to be John Forbes maybe sending it and making contact. You don't want to see a non-factor of the championship influence this race, but on the other hand, Seth Knoll is that other factor that hasn't made contact, but the part-timer who's been gone all throughout the playoffs shows up for the last race. In this one position could make or break on who wins the championship. That could have been the pass for the win. Instead, Forbes is 1 point back.
Yeah, but I mean, like, there's a difference between just coming out here racing and going for a win and then just being doored by a driver that's not even in the championship. So that's a different scenario there. Unfortunate to see. Can't believe it came to that. But Gavin Rogers still can make this chance to defend this and make, but Forbes doesn't look like he's got the pace still. He gains a little bit and loses a little bit. Seth Knoll has been doing a fantastic job keeping this gap ahead of John Forbes.
If you're a Gavin Rogers fan, you are cheering on Seth Knoll right now. If Seth takes the win, it should be a 1 point advantage to Gavin Rogers to take the championship. If John Forbes wins this race, Forbes will have a 1 point advantage over Gavin Rogers. It is a back and forth, but on top of that, you gotta be worried for Gavin Rogers. His pace has been so slow after that contact, the slide, his tires are gone. Larry Yingling, Cedric Hunter, Ryan Kelly, they're closing in on the 75. If Gavin loses 1 to 2 more positions, he could be losing out on this championship.
Yeah, you would hate to see it come to that, but Gavin just has lost that pace after that contact from the 27. He got a little sliding, or got a little sideways, slid those tires ever so slightly, which kind of ate up the wear and the temperature on him. So Gavin, he's just trying to hold on and hope the best that he possibly can.
In each lap that passes, Seth Knoll has just been a couple of hundredths faster than John Forbes. He's been slowly building out the gap. And if you're Cedric Hunter, this is a puzzling spot to be because of the fact of you look at where Gavin Rogers is or John Forbes is. You were fighting so aggressively to stop the one from moving forward. If you catch up to Rogers, do you attempt to pass him, or do you have a lock for Rogers? There's a lot of games that can be made there if you're trying to stop a driver from winning the championship. But Cedric Hunter closing in on Gavin Rogers. Larry Yingling trying to get there as well. Rogers, does he have the friends and the allies to help him just limp this machine to the end with 11 laps to go? The pace difference is too dramatic. I don't even think if you just backed off on the run, you'd even be able to stop Kelly or Yingling, who both of their mindsets is to get by this 75.
Yeah, it's just Gavin's pace is so far off what everyone else has been running. You hate to see that happen. He is 0.3 off what almost everyone else in the top 4 or 5 has been running. So, I mean, it's going to be a tough call for everyone behind him on what they're going to do. I mean, I feel Cedric Hunter will be a teammate to Gavin Rogers in this late part of the race, but I mean, who knows what can happen even if when Larry Yingling and Ryan Kelly catch up to him.
It's just 10 laps of waiting, 10 laps of looming. We could bring up the live timing of the points once again for those that are just joining us in the final 10 laps of this race. Here is your live point scenario. Gavin Rogers, Jared Talmadge, not even a part of the final 4, body slams and almost completely takes out Gavin Rogers. Rogers is now dealing with a wounded machine, and he is trying to stay ahead. He is 1 point ahead on John Forbes. Forbes is losing time to Seth Knoll for that lead position. If Forbes is going to take this championship, it's either by passing Seth Knoll or Rogers gets passed by 2 drivers. I believe the tiebreaker would go to Gavin Rogers, who won last week at Richmond. Because he won this during this round, he would take that tiebreaker. So Rogers, if he loses 1 spot, he's okay. You cannot lose 2 spots, though, with 8 laps to go.
Oh, he cannot lose two, but even to be safe, don't lose one if at all possible. Do everything you can to keep in front of Cedric Hunter, Larry Yingling, and Ryan Kelly. Their pace is starting to fall off a little bit as well. They're not extremely faster than Gavin. Gavin has picked up his pace ever so slightly, but Forbes is just bleeding time from Seth Knoll. Seth Knoll is doing a fantastic job keeping that car about a second ahead of John Forbes, and time is running out. As we cross the line, it'll be 7 to go.
Jared Talmadge going to go into pit road. He's expected to get some tires and fuel and try to finish out this race. He might just stay in pit road with the amount of laps that are left with 7 to go. Seth Knoll staying ahead. Forbes, just no more tires left underneath him. Cedric Hunter isn't gaining time on Rogers, nor is Larry Yingling. They've hit a plateau. They have fallen off. Rogers has the pace currently to hold back. And Rogers, all the fight, all of the bad luck, the strategy calls that just didn't line up for him. Even the bad luck here tonight. I mean, it's working for now, but 6 laps to go. There's still so many wild cards that are out there on track.
There's so many wild cards with 15 cars still, 13 cars on the track currently. I mean, there's still potential for a yellow flag. We don't want that to happen by any means, and we want this to finish under green, because the dramatic finish this could potentially be, as Forbes just is not catching Seth Knoll. Seth Knoll being that disruptor of the championship, but in a way that racing is happening, is doing everything he can to stay in front, being that person to take the win away from what could have been John Forbes.
Seth Knoll entering into this season, he only ran, entering tonight, 7 races. He won once. He got 4 top 5s, 4 top 10s. Cedric Hunter, though, snapping loose off the exit of turn 2. He keeps it pointing straight. He'll fall to 6th. The gap now going to be 1 second between Larry Yingling and Ryan Kelly. A little bit of a 1 second gap between Gavin Rogers and also Larry Yingling. So it's a second between 3rd, 4th, and 5th, equally between one another. They continue to race on, but for Seth Knoll, he's trying to go for his 2nd win this season, be the 3rd driver with a multiple win, get his 5th top 5, 5th top 10, his 88. I mean, that's not a bad stat line to have. Run 8 races and you get top 5 top 5s. You'll take that for a part-timer.
Yeah, that is a phenomenal stat to have for Seth Knoll. He is just, like I've mentioned before, he has just been an amazing driver to watch race week in, week out when he does show up. I mean, if he ran a full season, this guy would definitely be a top contender for the championship. So, you know, who knows what can happen next season to see if he shows up for full time or not. But Seth Knoll doing a fantastic job walking away so far with this win.
Trying to continue on with this pace. 3 laps to go for Seth Knoll. 3 laps to go for Gavin Rogers, who's, again, trying to keep his pace ahead of Larry Yingling and Ryan Kelly. As long as he stays ahead of those 2 drivers, he will have a 1-point advantage over John Forbes, which would be massive for himself. Seth Knoll just trophy hunting for himself. What a season it's been for this 88 and for the 1, but it's Gavin Rogers back in 3rd place.
Gavin Rogers in 3rd place. He is still maintaining that 1 car distance from John Forbes. He's keeping that 1 point gap. The fact that this championship could come down to a 1 point again 2 seasons in a row is going to be wild. As the white flag is flying, this race is official. Seth Knoll, 4 quarters to go. Gavin Rogers, 4 for him as well before the championship is his.
Seth Knoll just so confident. He hit every mark that he needed to. Showed up here tonight. He started at the end of the line with a penalty that did carry over, and he'll take his 2nd win of the season, his 5th top 5, his 5th top 10. But ultimately, you look back to 3rd place. Gavin Rogers back in season 9. He thought he was going to have a chance for a championship. He was 2 points off behind Zach Hall. Merely just a few seasons later, Gavin Rogers is your season 11 WSSR VRS Cup Series champion. Congratulations to the 75. 1 point. And with all the controversy, the unwanted contact, it's the 75 that looms strong over them all. Welcome to the history books. Gavin Rogers, you've got yourself a championship.
Gavin Rogers finally able to stamp his name into the book of champions here at the WSSR VRS Cup Series. Gavin Rogers, fantastic work for him, being able to control that car after contact, maintain his position. He is the Season 11 champion here in the WSSR Racing Series.
He entered into the playoffs with no wins. He did not get that monkey off his back until last week at Richmond. He got the pole. He led the most laps. He won. He got the bonus points that were necessary to give him the gap. 3 points was the gap over John Forbes entering tonight. And when the night's over, the night's done, 1 point was all that he needed to crown himself a champion. Enjoy this one, Gavin Rogers. Seth Knoll will enjoy this win. What a season. What the heck was that drama at the end? And ultimately, Gavin Rogers gets to enjoy it. For us up at the booth, what a run it was. Don't worry, the show's not over just yet. We're going to talk to our top three. Seth Knoll, the winner. John Forbes, the first loser. And Gavin Rogers, your Season 11 WSSR Cup Series champion. We'll be back after this to talk to the victors and losers. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the post-race show of the WSSR VRS Cup Series, the final race of Season 11. And what fireworks it popped off there at the end. We will start things off with a driver I know most of you in chat want to talk to and hear from. We head to the top of the board in the standings. It's going to be your third place finisher here tonight and your ultimate Season 11 champion, Gavin Rogers. Gavin, what a season for yourself. You got the one win last week that placed you with the advantage entering tonight, and you finish off with 11 top fives, 15 top 10s, and you officially join the history books as a WSSR VRS Cup Series champion. How are you feeling after that one here tonight?
Sam, I'm feeling great. It's such a relief. I'm almost more relieved than I am excited because I was stressing so much that last run. John was, dude, he was so fast. I don't know what I was doing that run, but I destroyed my right front, and I thought I had something figured out to kind of save my tires that run when me and John were going at it for the lead. I felt really good, and I was just going to try to replicate that. I know I was moving around a lot that run, but I felt like the bottom was best for me, so that's what I was trying to do this last run. And I was burning my right front, and I just see John coming passing a car after car after car, and then he's eventually right behind me. And I was doing what I could to defend him, but he was so fast. I'm just glad that Seth was fast enough to hold him on. I don't know how close it was in points, but from what it sounded like, if he got past Seth, he was gonna win. I'm not sure if that's true or not, but it definitely had me stressing. Not my cleanest race by any means. I screwed up qualifying really bad. I was actually going to try to stop because I had a really bad turns 3 and 4. I was going to try to stop and do another lap, but I didn't realize I only had 30 seconds on the clock. Time went by a little quick there. So just lucky everything kind of played out there. Just feeling so blessed. And yeah, man, it feels great.
Well, Gavin, to answer your question, it was a 1-point difference for taking the championship from John Forbes tonight. Congratulations, man. It has been a long time coming. You know, it's being a close friend and racing with you, you know, on Tuesday nights and everything as well. I mean, it's great to be able to finally call you a champion. I mean, how was the stress level when you were starting back in the 13th position?
Oh, the start, I wasn't too stressed because I knew I wasn't that far back. Obviously, I was only in 13th, and a lot of these guys that were in the session tonight, I trusted pretty well. I knew it was going to be hard to race around some of the teammates of John, and rightfully so. They're doing whatever they can to get that team championship, and I respect that. I would have done the same thing if I had teammates racing with me. But yeah, that stress level, at least at the end of the race, was definitely 10 out of 10 for sure. I was stressing. I had my buddy Rev in my ear telling me to be clean and smooth, and it really helped me stay calm there. I was definitely very very out of it. I couldn't really stay focused that well, but with him in my ear, it was definitely a help for sure. And I'm just so thankful to have him there spotting me and crew chiefing me the best he could, and he did such a great job. And if it weren't for him, I really wouldn't be the champion tonight. So I just got to give him huge props.
I mean, Gavin, we looked at your history here in the WSSR. You've been here since season 9. Before tonight's race, you had 51 starts, 7 wins, 27 top 5s, 37 top 10s was your career here in this series. We look back to your rookie season. You were so close to winning the championship on your first go. It didn't happen. You had to fight for so many seasons to finally get to here. What is it like with that journey and finally being able to cap off this season 11 with this championship?
Yeah, like I said, it's a huge relief getting it finally. Obviously, not my greatest season by any means. I obviously have a feeling that, there's a lot of races that I really should have had. There was a lot of races where I threw it away or just something didn't play in my favor. A lot of just bad time cautions, especially trying to pass for the lead. I feel like that happened so many times, but yeah, just pulling it off. I wish I got the win tonight. I'll be honest. That's gonna kind of hurt me a little bit, but having that big trophy is definitely gonna help that. And man, I'm feeling great.
Well, Gavin, congratulations on an incredible season for yourself. I know there was a lot of heartbreak in the beginning half, but congratulations on turning it around and having such a strong championship round for yourself. And before we let you go, the floor is now yours for any other shout outs.
Yeah, absolutely. First and foremost, want to give all glory to God. Wouldn't be able to do any of this if it weren't for Him. I've been blessed with the time to have time to be able to race, and I'm just so happy that I've been able to race and be successful in it. Want to shout out all my family and friends watching. I know I have a lot of buddies in Discord from my other leagues and a lot of family watching tonight, so I'm just thankful for their support. Want to shout out Rev for doing such a good job helping me out and pulling off this championship with me. This league for pulling off such a great league. They have so many competitive guys, and I don't know what it's looking like for season. I believe it is 12 next season. I don't know if I'll be racing or not. I have some things in mind that I want to be doing on my Wednesdays, so that's kind of why I'm in the Monday league. But last, but definitely not least, you guys, Freekyfast. I've always been in leagues with you guys broadcasting. I always love watching them back, and it's always been fun listening to you guys. And I just want to give props to you guys as well.
Well, thank you for giving us such a great show to call. Gavin, this one certainly was a spectacular one. From all the beating and banging between yourself and John, the survival contact between yourself and Talmadge, and ultimately you take the championship by 1 point. Congratulations on that. Enjoy your offseason. If we see you next season, I can't wait to see you out there.
All right. Appreciate it, Sam.
Well, that, ladies and gentlemen, will be your season 11 champion of the WSSR VRS Cup Series by 1 point over John Forbes. Congratulations to the 75 Sundance Pizza Machine of Gavin Rogers. I know that Next Level Motorsports crew is rooting for you. The chat's been blowing up. They are excited for this win. Congratulations, Gavin. Once again, enjoy your off season.
I will for sure.
As we move away from the championship circle, we head to victory lane to talk to the winner of tonight's race for the Freekyfast Championship finale. We have ourselves Seth Knoll. Seth, it's been a while, but you get your second win of the season. How are you feeling coming back and getting right back to the top of the board?
Feel good. We had really, really good pace tonight in the long run. To the point, I mean, we were able to stay out on old tires and kind of slowly start making our way back up. And that last long run, we were just flying after about 20 laps. I had not much more to say. Part-time effort this season with Lucky Duck and able to get 2 wins. Probably could have had a couple more if we just played things a little different, but we had some fun and see what we do next season.
Well, fantastic run tonight, Seth. It was impressive to watch you come up through the field like you did and just be able to dominate, especially once you got up to the lead, just not giving it up, and especially in those longer runs. When you showed up tonight, was it just to come in and try to get another win, or were you trying to play an upset, factor for the championship?
I mean, in all honesty, I was struggling in coke testing last night, so I just needed more laps here. And with the way that the set drove was a little different than how the Coke setups are, so I figured out a couple things just with the lines and stuff and how to manipulate the air when you're behind someone just to try and get better, try and find something here. But yeah, that was the entire goal tonight, and I felt like we did that. Start from the back and got to the field pretty quick and just kind of flowed through the race as the yellows came and able to end up on top.
You certainly did end up on top, Seth. I know I felt like I asked you similar question last season. You did part-time for last season. This season, are you planning on coming back next season as part-time, or are you thinking about trying full-time to go for a championship?
Admittedly, right now, I haven't really talked with John about maybe running for Lucky Duck again part-time. As of now, maybe kind of undecisive. We'll see how that goes in the off-season. Whether or not we come back with the Gen 4. I know I kind of like that car at certain tracks, so might see me next season run a couple races and get a couple more dubs.
We cannot wait to see you out there on track if we do again. And if we don't, Seth, the floor is now yours for any other shout-outs.
Shout out, John, bring me on the season. We ran with No Kid Hungry on the side of the car. No Kid Hungry is working to end child hunger in America today by ensuring that all children get the healthy food they need every day to thrive. So I appreciate John having us run that this season. Cool cause, and hopefully we can get some donations towards them and have No Kid Go Hungry.
Well, it was awesome to watch the run go down here tonight. Seth, congratulations on a winning here this evening. Enjoy it. And if we see you next season, can't wait to see you back out on track.
All right, see you guys there.
That will be your winner here tonight for the Freekyfast Champion finale of the 88 of Seth Knoll. We now head down to the driver that comes away second on the leaderboard here tonight, second in points as well. 1 point away from joining the ranks of so many that have gone back-to-back in their WSSR VRS Cup Series Championship. But John, it was still one heck of a season for yourself. How are you feeling after your great performance here tonight from Homestead?
Yeah, it sucks to look at the points and see one right there, like we were so close, but I can't complain with the race, the season. I mean, it was, the send-off for the next gen, I'm glad it's gone. Glad we're going to the Gen 4. Would have been cool to knock off 2 in a row with the next gen, but I'm definitely looking forward to getting done with this car. But the race overall, Homestead is one of the best next gen tracks in my opinion, especially up to the refresh and stuff. So it was a good time. Me and Gavin were just going at it. It was super fun. Unfortunately, we got a little bit of contact and spun around, but I was just super happy to not get damaged right there and be able to keep going. Yeah, that final run, I just didn't really have it figured out when I got to the back. I was like, I'm running the top, running the bottom, just something's not right. So eventually I got it figured out, and I was just going through everybody And once I got to Seth, my car just kind of stalled out. Felt the tires kind of wear in. It's like, yeah, this one's gonna be tough. And I saw Cedric closing in on Gavin. I was like, all right, come on. And the contact with Jarrett, that really sucked. So there was some potential to get this one done, but it just didn't work out in our favor tonight. But well deserved by Gavin. He didn't get the wins he wanted this season. I mean, he was close pretty much every week, but he performed when he had to. I was just joking about him being and Joey Logano champion, but yeah, that's what you got to do, perform in these rounds. He just played the right strategy this last round. So congrats to him.
Yeah, John, it was a fantastic race to watch from up here in the booth. You and Gavin put on one heck of a show near the middle of the race there. But if that contact between you two didn't happen coming out of 2, do you think that race could have definitely taken a different turn for yourself?
I mean, you never know exactly what it's going to do. I mean, Gavin Ross lost some track position through that too. So you never know. If it went green, maybe both of our tires would have fallen off, which is probably what would have happened. Seth, I think, would have gotten us anyway. He was doing a great job saving and just had some things figured out. We've been doing some practice with Nexus and stuff this week, and I knew he was going to be tough. I didn't know if he was going to be showing up or not, but he's always one to look at as far as lines and stuff. And I was talking to him before coming in here, and yeah, he was doing some things I wasn't. So it's always cool to, I mean, usually we find ourselves up front, but it's cool to be able to learn from some of these guys. He just had something figured out tonight that I didn't. So we'll take that in the pocketbook. Looking forward to a lot of cool things coming up with whatever they do with Road to Pro. I'm sure it's going to be next gen, stuff like that. So yeah, just like I said, coming into the season, I know I've told you guys a few times, it was really just about learning for me, getting this car figured out a little bit more. And I feel like I accomplished that goal. So I can't be too upset with coming home second, even though we had most wins and everything. It stings a little bit, but just happy to finish with at least a good finish here.
Yeah, I mean, your stats this season, John, are ridiculous. You ran 18 races this season, 6 wins, the most top 5s with 12. You tied with the most top 10s with 15. You tied with the most poles at 2. It was just spectacular to see how your season came through. Any final thoughts on this season for yourself, for the team, on capstoning this whole entire season 11 for yourself?
Yeah, it had so many ups and downs. Like, just to start the season off, and I think I got 2 or 3 in a row at one point. I was like, oh, I have this thing figured out. And then there was just kind of a spree for a little bit. I didn't win through most of the playoffs, and I was like, wow, you kind of take these for granted. Like, you win a few in a row, and you're like, oh, I'm like the king of the world. And then you'll go on a losing streak of like 5-6 races, and you're like, oh, what's going on? So you never can take these wins and stuff for granted. Just gotta thank you guys for everything you do for the league and everything. Looking forward to next season, like I said, with the Gen 4. But just gotta thank everybody for watching week in and week out.
John, it was a pleasure to give you the call. And before we let you go, if there's anyone else that you'd like to give thanks to, the floor is now yours.
Yeah, just all the nightmare fuel. It sucked how Vinny's run went. I think we would have been top 2. Same with Gavin, everybody. It would have been a fun battle having all 4 of us. Just have another car in the mix tonight. So it sucked. He just had like a Josh Berry type of playoffs here in this last round. So that really sucked. Feel for him. But I got to thank all the teammates of Nightmare Fuel. Jarrett, he did his best as he could to try to hold Gavin off. And we played some great strategies this season to win Talladega and stuff like that for him. So yeah, I think going down the list of Thomas too, he just had a rough go, and we'll get him trained up for the Gen 4. Hopefully we'll be all together as a team next season. We'll get that figured out, but yeah, we'll see how it goes from here. Gotta thank you guys again for putting on the broadcast. They're always fun to go back and watch. Can't wait to go back and watch this one. And then just gotta thank friends, family, Gridless Graphics, my brother, putting together some awesome schemes all season. So a little bit of a new look tonight. Looked great on track, and yeah, just looking forward to next season.
It was a great season to call, John. Congratulations on an impressive season. No, it didn't finish the way that you wanted, but enjoy the fact that it was so dominant for most of it. Can't wait for your next season, and can't wait until then. Enjoy your off season, John.
Thank you, guys. Have a good night.
You too, as that will be the one machine of John Forbes. Again, you look at most of the stats, he was the top driver. He did everything out there. As we move on over, take a look at our unofficial results for tonight. We talked at the very beginning when we saw that he registered in, he was going to be the driver that maybe could shake things up, and he certainly did. Taking the win here tonight is Seth Knoll. that win could have gone to John Forbes. It could have given the one machine the championship. Instead, John finishes second, 1 point behind Gavin Rogers, who takes third. Then Larry Yingling takes fourth. Fifth goes to Cedric Hunter. Ryan Kelly, sixth. Seventh goes to Zach Hall. GT Rizari, eighth. Ninth, Ali Fonseca. And Justin Malarkey finishing off the season with the top 10. Want to, again, give kudos to Larry Yingling. He was the third driver that was hunting for a championship. Just it didn't come together for him here tonight, but you look at the rest of the drivers, there's a couple, Richard, there that your heart goes out to. Unfortunately, they weren't able to race when they wanted to.
Yeah, and really the biggest name on there has to be Vincent Sora. He came into this playoffs. He had a very good chance to be a contender. Unfortunate events in a wreck happened last week in Richmond, which set him majorly behind the 8 ball coming into this final race, but just enough drivers were able to log in, get into the session, and he was able to steal the pole away to get that extra point, but then his internet told him no, and you hate to see when things like that happen. Like, you had the light at the end of the tunnel, and something out of your control tells you that's not happening. So out of all those drivers, Vincent Sora has got to be the one that's just hard to see.
Yeah, it's a heartbreaker for sure for those drivers to see. And with the end of a season for one league, the continuation for another, as we've got you more coverage heading into next week. We've got the Trinity Racing League continuing to carry on as they will be having their Xfinity car moving forward. Excited to see those drivers carry on because we just got done with the playoffs here. Those guys are just 2 races away from their playoffs beginning. It's the run to see who's going to make the top 16. You just saw Gavin Rogers win his championship here in WSSR. Well, if you want to see Gavin fighting for his life to make the playoffs, you gotta watch on Monday nights because he is outside looking in. He practically needs to win these next 2 races to make the playoffs, and so do so many other drivers if they want a chance. It's exciting racing with the Xfinity car, but also for us, we've gotten word, we were given the schedule. Season 12, you heard the drivers, they're excited for it. They're moving to the Gen 4 official car that iRacing has built out. There's been updates on it. The fun thing about this season, we're going to be running some legacy tracks. We're going to Daytona 08, Atlanta 08 to start the season off. October 29th is when season 12 begins. Exciting racing. It's 08 Daytona, 08 Atlanta, Phoenix, Kansas, Sonoma, Darlington. We're heading to Milwaukee to start this year, the new year off. Then Michigan, Indianapolis, and the newest road course added to iRacing, Mexico City at the end of January. Then we go to Rockingham, Talladega. Before, we're no longer doing playoffs. It's a chase. We're going to have 6 races to figure out who will take the season 12 championship. Cannot wait for it. Richard, it's crazy to think we're now just a full month away before a new season begins.
Yeah, it's crazy that it's just going to come actually a lot faster than you would normally think. But yeah, and it's going to be exciting to call these Gen 4 race cars, especially on a lot of these legacy tracks. Daytona 08 is probably going to be one that's going to be worth watching, and it's going to be a wild one to call because that track is nowhere close to being smooth. There are bumps, there's character to it. That's going to be a handful for these drivers to control that car at. But it's going to be a lot of fun to watch, especially when the car now has 2 specific body styles. They actually have a super speedway and a speedway style on these cars. So now what we didn't see last time with Gen 4, we'll be able to see them do push drafting this time. So it's going to be an exciting season to watch, and I can't wait to see who comes out on top.
We're going to be learning, the drivers are going to be learning, and we'll see who can emerge of the driver in season 12 to try to dethrone Gavin Rogers if he returns back, and if he doesn't, who will be the new emergence? Will we see a past winner get back on top of the championship, or will we see someone new try to join the history book? We're excited for what next season has, but Richard, before we cap this season off, any final thoughts before we get off the air?
Oh man, I just want to say a fantastic season from all the drivers. And again, a last congratulations to Gavin Rogers for taking the championship. It's been a long time coming for him. Only 1 win on the season as well, and it came really late in the season for him. But congratulations again to all the drivers. Look forward to next season and see what you guys, the shows you can put on there.
Cannot believe a whole season is now in the books. It was a great season 11. You got to see the highs, the dominance of Nightmare Fuel from Vincent Sora and John Forbes. But at the end, when it was a championship round, when it was down to everyone started on 0, who were going to be the driver to step up? Well, it was Gavin Rogers, John Forbes, Larry Yingling, and they found their chance, but it was the 75 Sundance Pizza Machine that takes the victory. He will be joining the ranks of Brian P. Johnson, Larry Yingling, Vincent Sora, Benjamin Nelson, Zach Hall, and John Forbes as a past champions. Congratulations on joining a group of drivers that have run history in this league since 2020, and we cannot believe that we got a newcomer finally joining in. But for us here tonight, what a season it's been. We're proud to give you all the coverage as always here on Freekyfast Broadcasting. For myself, Sam Dyer, for Richard Wolsifer, for Robert Moyer Jr., what a season it was. What a final race that was. It was a brawl. It was grueling, but it was a pleasure to see at the end Gavin Rogers taking the crown. Like we said, you don't want to miss out. We're just a month away from season 12. Who will emerge? New car, different tracks. Who will take that first win? You don't want to miss out. It will be here on Freekyfast Broadcasting. October 29th is when season 12 begins. For tonight, though, congratulations to Gavin Rogers, your Season 11 WSSR VRS Cup Series champion. Enjoy this one, Gavin. For us, we got plenty of great racing action ahead of us. Like we said, we're a month away from a new season, but if you can't wait until then, we'll see you Monday. The chase to who's making the playoffs. It is a drama happening on Monday night in Xfinity Car. You don't want to miss it. We'll see you on our next Freaky Fast broadcast.